Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. Younes, Miz, brothers.
Yo.
I mean, it could have been Thursday morning. I think Younes spared us. You know what I mean? He couldn't do it. And I thought to myself, I think this was pre-game. I don't know if it was pre-match. And I thought to myself, that's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing because that's going to be real fresh if we speak on that on Thursday morning. Obviously, off the back of that 4-1 defeat to Liverpool, with the game upcoming to Wolves at home, who just lost 4-3 to Manchester United. A certain Kobe Mino absolutely ripping everybody to shreds. We've got to talk all about it. But first of all, Younes, brother, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, we've had a little bit more extended time since the Liverpool loss. I take that back. Liverpool battering, and what went down. And to an extent, I think the emotions are still there because of how severe that result was. So we'll go over it, of course. But I'm all right. And after seeing what happened with Wolves yesterday, and despite the result, it's still making me raise an eyebrow of what we might see on Sunday. I'm not quite sure. What's gonna happen?
It's true. I'm not sure either.
Apart from that, I'm all good. Life is great.
Miz, brother, how are we feeling? How are we doing, bro? Good to see you again.
Good to see my friends. Honestly, I needed this. I was like, man, I feel lonely. I feel vulnerable. I need my boys. I need the live chat. I need to just feel one again. Like that game. Nah, man, that game shattered me, man. Absolutely shattered me. Like I wasn't expecting a lot, but I had just had this bravado. Like, nah, you go out there and at least get a draw. Like, don't allow yourself to be ridiculed. Don't
at least show up.
At least show up. I know it's Klopp's final season and they're gonna sing his song and they're gonna be emotional, but you have something to fight as well. Yeah. Clearly, nothing to fight. Do you know what I mean? Clearly nothing. But the embarrassing thing was how scared the players were. That's what really annoyed me. They were so scared. These players didn't want to be there. Like they were. It's almost as if there was a picture. If you could paint a picture, it would look like 11 Chelsea players on their knees with their hands together, with the Liverpool lads just standing, and the Chelsea players are like, please have mercy on us. Let us go. Like, just don't destroy us like this.
Yeah.
So, man, here we are, man. Hopefully I can feel a little bit better. But I know Wolves, but we're not keeping a clean sheet. That's for sure. Let's put it that way. What happens after that, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the Liverpool game and get it out the way before we go over to this FFP stuff. I've seen some people in the chat. Big up everybody in the chat talking about FFP. I've seen the clip. I've seen the quotes. So we're going to bring that clip up, play it, and we're going to react to that as well. And we're going to discuss the transfer window and review it. As short and sharp as that may potentially be, I don't know, but there was some business done on the outgoings. We'll review what we did, what we almost did, what we didn't do, and then we'll go over to Wolves on Sunday. Starting off with that Liverpool game, absolutely shambolic. I mean, I'm not going to say never, but I've seen us dominated from start to finish, and that was one of those times. Like we were just absolutely trampled on. Like we were just absolutely stood on and spat on almost. Like people just bottom of the shoe, chewing gum type feeling. We were just nothing to them. They just absolutely destroyed us from minute 0 to minute 90. We had a little spell when we made our 3 changes and tried to get ourselves back into the game for 10 minutes. We looked competitive, but we still conceded, I think, before that. And then obviously Nkunku gets the goal back. So, but most of the game we were just destroyed. Obviously, people are going to speak about refereeing decisions and whatnot. But when you're battered like that, I don't think you deserve any luck if that makes any sense. I don't think you deserve any 50-50 decisions because, in my opinion, I think
give us the 2 goals. They would have scored 9.
They would have
scored 9.
They would have scored 6 or 7. I think all of the penalties for me are soft anyway. I would have not given any of them. I think the reason why the Nkuku one's a penalty is because Jota's a penalty. But if I'm going by I didn't get to see the Nkuku one in its full light. But for me, I wouldn't probably give any of them. I think they're all soft.
I think the Nkuku one you could have.
Maybe. But it's not something it's not the main highlight from the game. The main highlight from the game is how we just got absolutely destroyed from pillar to pole. And I wanna lead on the Argentine issue because that's what's in the title, the Argentine issue. The reason why I said it's the Argentine issue is not because I didn't want to mention Pochettino, because I would have just called it the Pochettino issue. But we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago on the show. This battle between Pochettino and Enzo Fernandez, and the battle continues as far as I'm concerned, because in that game, I don't know how you guys felt, but Enzo Fernandez, sometimes when he was in the first phase next to Caicedo, he did actually get out of the press. He showed quick feet, he got out. But unfortunately, he wasn't always there, because sometimes when we were trying to build up, I saw him all the way up the pitch playing in left half space and playing in second striker. And what puzzles me more is if we didn't have a left back like Chilwell on the pitch, if we had like a Badia Shaw at left back or a Colwell, I'd understand that's maybe we have too many people in the first phase. We can't push those guys into the high wide positions because they're centre backs. But we have Chilwell. We used to play Chilwell as a left wing back. We played Chilwell as a left winger this season. We use Chilwell sometimes as a runner. Why can't we just push Enzo into positions that make sense for his passing range and push Sterling up and push Chilwell up and swap him over? Because Chilwell in possession was awful. And he has always been average, in my opinion. I think Chilwell in possession is a very average player. He doesn't skip past players very well. He doesn't use his right foot. He's not that press resistant. He's just Chilwell. He just does the basics. Enzo doesn't. Enzo could do anything on that football with the pass. So I don't know. I think it's very puzzling. I don't understand what the reasoning is behind it, because Caicedo keeps getting left for dead. I don't like the narrative that's created around Caicedo now, which is that just because Chelsea are playing poorly, it means Caicedo is playing poorly. It tells me that the people outside Chelsea, the rivals, of course, are not really watching us like that. Caicedo is left for dead on and off the ball in first phase, in possession, and off the ball when he's trying to defend. This guy has no one near him. I don't even know how he hasn't had more stinkers, if I'm completely honest. Because if you leave someone to die and you're trying to play out from the back when you've got no options around you to pass to, how has he not dropped more stinkers? It's actually quite impressive. I think he only misplaced one pass in that game. Obviously, the heavy touch that led to the counter. But that's pretty damn good for someone that's been left high and dry on their own. So I don't know what you guys make of this Enzo. I mean, I already said if I'm picking Enzo or Poch, I'm picking Enzo every time. I rate Enzo. No one this season, not Culture Cams, not Flex, not John Joe Shelby. Nobody here is going to be able to convince me that Enzo is not a top player or not a very good player with a massive, high potential. Because if clubs come in for Enzo, it's not going to be Fulham. It's not going to be Wolves. It's not going to be West Ham. I know these clubs are not coming in for Enzo. I know what clubs are coming in for Enzo. If Kai Havertz is going to Arsenal, I know what clubs are coming in for Enzo. Top clubs. So everybody could pretend that Enzo's a bad player, but watch what clubs come in for Enzo if we can't play a game that suits this guy. So that's my first rant over. You guys take it from there, man.
Do you know what, Matisse? I'm so glad you said that. Yesterday, I had the similar conversation where some fans are telling me that Caicedo, Enzo, these are not players. They're not footballers. And I got to the situation to me, it started to sort of sink into me that we're now slowly, as a fan base, not all of us, but certain parts of the fan base are actually fully believing, because of the way we are playing as a unit. And I put that down a lot to the manager. Obviously, we've highlighted the issues with the board and the owners and whatnot, but in the game, you can only point your fingers towards the manager. We're now getting into a situation where the manager's deficiencies and the way he sets us up and the lack of organization, which you've touched base on in midfield, is starting to make some players' credibility go down to the drain. Some fans within our fan base are now starting to believe that Enzo Fernandez is actually not a good player, that Caicedo is actually not a good player, that Levi Colwell is actually not a good player, and there's many more. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's probably a handful that are probably not that good. Like your Mudryk, maybe. Maybe we're probably starting to understand that maybe they're not that great as we thought they may be. Or some of you guys probably didn't even think that. Or Madueke, for instance. But this right here, we are soon. I don't know if you guys saw these quotes. Enzo Fernandez's dad, just before the match, there were some quotes saying Enzo, he's been frustrated and this, that, the other. Obviously he carries himself well. He's not used to being in a team that's consistently losing and consistently in mid-table. And his dad's been telling him to stay patient, keep doing your thing, soon. If this carries on the way it is, and as you said, Matisse, some people are they were challenging me a few days ago that, who's going to come for Enzo? Believe me, teams will come for Enzo. Don't worry about him. He's a quality player. So we have to get to this point where, look, I've always said Pochettino is not the only issue. There's bigger issues in the football club. But if Poch can't get the best out of some of these players, forget about this season. Obviously, this season's gone, right? But we do need to think about next season. That is this guy actually the right guy with these players? Because it's a mismatch. You can see it's a mismatch. Some of these players that we have are not really suited for Poch. Now, I don't know whether that's Poch's fault, that's the board's fault, or whatever, because when Poch...
It's the board. It's the board. I'll just say it right now. It's the board. If you're Win Stanley and you're Stuart, I promise you to this day, if Poch is sacked, you must go too. I'm sorry.
100%.
You two must
100%.
go.
Fully agree.
I'm more than happy at the end of the season to review it all and say, right, okay, Pochettino didn't work out. It's time to be relieved of your duties. We start fresh again next season. I'm not at the point of we must sack him mid-season. I don't think the season's done. But some people will disagree. That's fine. But if he goes, those two must follow him. I'm sorry. Those two must follow him. They must. Because you've built this squad. You've built this squad. And then you've hired this guy to run the squad, to manage the squad. So that means you've misprofiled the squad building and you've misprofiled who to manage that squad. You've got it all wrong.
Here's the thing, Matisse. Why hasn't Pochettino then demanded that, guys, stop buying these players that don't work for me? Buy me this. If you trust me.
That's not his role. He's a head coach.
But then I'm sorry, he's got to go. At the end of the season, he's got to go there.
But you have to understand, they're going to keep hiring head coaches that don't tell them who to buy.
Yeah, that comply.
That's the problem. That they comply.
Exactly.
He's been brought in as a head coach. We're gonna make the signings. We're gonna look at Jason Derulo at Aston Villa, right? And there's nothing you're gonna say about it. You ain't watched Jason Derulo play for Chicago Fire, but we have. We've run the data.
How they're expecting Pochettino to do well then? Like, I don't get this. It's counterproductive. It really is. It's like let me have like Younes. Let's get Younes to come to my channel and speak in Bengali. He ain't gonna do that.
You must speak.
He's Algerian. He ain't speaking Bengali.
You must.
But you must.
And you must communicate clearly.
And he's gonna fail miserably. But
this is why. But bro, this is why. Like 18 months in, every single manager under this tenure has failed. I must look at the overarching. I must look at the guys that have been consistently here for that time period as the main culprits. I have to look at it like that. Yep. Regardless of it was my manager in Poch I wanted, your manager in Enrique, your manager in Mourinho. If Mourinho came in at the start of the season and they handed him a bunch of kids, who do you think I'm cussing? Sporting directors. If they brought in Enrique and they hand him a bunch of counter-attacking, no first touch, loosey-goosey Mudryks, long day. I'm afraid we're going to have to talk about the sporting directors. Sporting directors are the ones that are going to hold the most smoke at the end of the season because they're the ones that decided to go down this route. Or they're being told to do this. And this is where the confusion comes in. They're being told to do this by the ownership. I don't know which way around is. I know the ownership used to want Cristiano Ronaldo.
I don't know which. Yeah.
They wanted Ronaldo, and now they want Vincent St. Arnold's 16-year-old. I don't know.
I think this is where the switch happened with Todd Bowley running the show last season, where he was looking for marquee players, to Iqbali,
who is
But look at the
completely
wages were
business,
what?
like
Yeah.
business oriented. He's more
Mhm.
thinking, I'm not interested about your marquee BS. Like, keep that stuff away from
But
us.
also, his marquee stuff was going to potentially put us in the highest wage bracket in terms of the highest wage
Of course.
budget in the league, because he was looking at Ronaldo. He signed Koulibaly, put him on nearly 200k.
I think he even had a meeting with Mbappe. He's on right.
Bro, he put Sterling on
In the World
300
Cup.
plus K. He put Carney on 100k. He put Fofana on 180k. Like, he put people on crazy money.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing out loads of names. Aubameyang, you know, so that was also probably a terrible idea to continue that way.
That was
wasn't gonna
terrible.
be. So, you know, we didn't want him in charge of negotiations anymore. That's for sure. Man. I don't know what you think, Younes, about. That's kind of how I'm sitting on it right now. Like, if Poch goes, fair dues, but you know, at the end of the season, I think these sporting directors they're in big trouble, man. Because the one thing I can't take is the way we've built our attack is just mind-boggling. You look at that Liverpool game. Obviously, the first phase, the build-up was a mess, right? But anytime the ball went to the forward line, Palmer, who's out of position, so I'm going to give him
it was free
an
for all.
asterisk. Gallagher, Madueke, Sterling, turnovers, just like this.
Yeah.
Turnovers,
Easily.
turnovers,
Exactly.
turnovers, just turnovers. And it's
Mate,
like,
it was
yeah,
it was panic central all over. And this is, look, we go back to that point. There's a complete misprofiling on this whole situation, right? You go from recruitment to the manager on the game against Liverpool, Poch, and the players and where they're playing and the setup. And we're looking at that midfield, for example. I can't come on here and tell you Enzo and Caicedo are crap players. They're not, right? But I think there's a misprofile here. I think there's the expectation that I think we had compared to what we're getting and what they can do, two different things. And especially under Poch, who's not using them correctly. And I say both, Enzo and Caicedo. Because you're right when you say Caicedo, for example, is being left for dead, right? But at the same time, is Caicedo complete? No. And maybe that's the misexpectation I think many had, that he'd come in and just revolutionize the midfield. But if he has security next to him, I think he plays better. I think Enzo comes across more like a luxury sort of player. If you have a proper, stable, solid spine in that midfield and you add Enzo in the same way that we used to have, let's say, a Fabregas, or we used to have, you know, someone that can come into the midfield and just complement it. Enzo will probably come across as that guy, right? Not the guy to rely on, especially defensively, because we get caught out. And it's going to take additions to make them look better. But the way that Poch is setting everything up is just completely wrong. We're left exposed and open in that midfield because of the setup.
do you
You
know
look at
what?
the way Liverpool, look, we attempt to pass the ball out of the back. Mate, we get one pass in, boom, 5 Liverpool faces in front of us, and we're like, oh crap, we lose the ball. Okay, we're panicking. Like, there's no way that we're able to move. There's no way that we're able to contain. There's no way that we're able to resist any sort of press that is on us, especially Liverpool. We ain't got a chance. So the whole setup is wrong. The whole setup from Pochettino in the instance is wrong. And at the same time, this is where we go back to misprofiling. We don't look like we even have the correct personnel to execute exactly what we need. So it's wrong things on so many levels. Do you know what I mean? It's not just one issue. We've tried to put, we haven't just tried to put, you know, let's say a square in a circle shaped hole. We've tried to add triangles and hexagons and pentagons and all them. We're just like, we've mixed so many problems into one together to make one massive problem. So this is where I honestly, I go back to the same point, and I agree that if we were to just sack Pochettino, but that's not going to just solve everything. Like, the ones upstairs need to go as well. And we then need to go back to the point of analyzing what we have in the squad. And we have to be honest with ourselves, and the ones that are genuinely good enough are good enough, and the ones that are not are not. It's as simple as that. And get a manager that's going to complement with an actual system and an actual way, because we can't identify what we're trying to do yet. I still don't think we have an identity. I genuinely don't. People say pressing is our tactic. Pressing is not a tactic. I refuse. I refuse to go down the route of, oh no, we press hard. That's the way we play. BS. Most teams press. If you're not pressing in today's age, you're lost. It's as simple
You're right.
as that.
Pressing is definitely not a tactic. It's part of the game.
It's
now.
part of the system.
It's basics of the game. Just to sort of add a different flavor to what you just said, Younes, in terms of the midfield, right? Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher in this instance, the trio that we used, right?
Yeah.
Let me just tell you the midfield that Liverpool had against us. And this has generally been the midfield that they've utilized predominantly this season. They've utilized Endo here and there. This is their midfield. McAllister, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones. Now, when you look at these three, you can't straight away say, well, that's an out-and-out defensive midfielder right there, broad, you know, a lot of physique and strength, and can stay on themselves as a lone midfielder. No, they're all very, very good midfielders, but none of them are defined on a particular role. McAllister in Brighton wasn't always playing as a defensive midfielder. He was playing everywhere. He was playing as a centre midfield. He was at times playing as a defensive midfielder. He could play as an 8. He could play as a 10. He could play many areas. Szoboszlai in Leipzig, we've seen he's an attacking midfielder, right? Or a number 8, you can say. Box to box, you can say. Curtis Jones. You can't say Curtis Jones is a sitter. He's someone who can go box to box as well. But what Klopp has done, this is what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying go get me a Klopp level of manager, because there's not too many out there, right? But this is where the manager comes into play and how they set you up. Even with these three profiles that I've just mentioned, they absolutely dominated us in the midfield. They pressed as a unit. They kept the shape very close to each other. They were never so far apart from each other. They hunted as a pack. They moved as a pack. They moved forward as a pack. They moved backward as a pack. But they also had brilliant ballers in their defensive areas that also kept very close to each other. So when they kept a high line, they made sure the lines between defense and midfield and attack is not too far apart from each other.
But that's Van Dijk and Konate, right? That's two of the most that's two
elite
of the best defenders out there, two of the best centre backs out there that you can play a high line with. We can't play a high line with Silva and Disasi. If that's
we tried against, and Younes kept finding his way in behind.
So we had to drop that line. We just had to. And now
I've got no issues with that. My issue is, why can't we control the midfield, Matisse? Well, because Younes just mentioned that we've got Caicedo, we've got Enzo, we've got, obviously we had Gallagher. They're not the right profile. But I've just laid out to you how Liverpool, the three profiles that they have, they seem to control.
There's two things I would have liked to have tried, right? Two things I would like to have tried, and that's in hindsight, right? We know that we can't have a high line against Liverpool. It's Younes, it's Diaz, it's Jota, it's madness. There's no point trying to run the high line.
And it's our centre backs.
And our centre backs are getting absolutely cooked.
39 years old.
Badia, worst game of his life. Now, in this
we don't need to have a high line against them. There's other ways to beat them.
Exactly. We don't need to do that at all. There's either you go to the back three and you play with wing backs, and you play Chilwell and Gusto as wing backs. You play the three centre backs,
and play in behind.
And that's what Tuchel used to do to protect Jorginho and Cover if he played as a pivot when Kante wasn't there. He'd have Enzo and Caicedo just ahead of the three. So you've got one extra man as security. And then on the wide areas, you've got two wing backs there protecting you on either side of you as well. And then you've got your three forwards. Sometimes we even played a 3-5-2, right? Away at places like Anfield. Even when Man City go to Anfield, I said it in my review, they change their game. They don't play out the same way. It's naive to think you can go to Anfield, a team that have not lost there for I don't know how many years at this point. Definitely not this season, and play your way. You have to play the occasion. It's Anfield. You have to switch it up. Yeah. So you either play your 3-5-2 or you play your 3-4-3, right? Whatever. Or what we need to do is potentially look at going with three man midfield, right? And it maybe is an Andre Santos or a Lavia, someone that can help us in those deeper positions with Caicedo, but also gives an extra body to Enzo in there as well. And then you got 3 midfielders, and you play a standard bog standard 4-3-3. But the problem is that what I always notice is that, forget Enzo, his positioning is wrong. We've already spoken about that. But Gallagher, even when Gallagher's playing next to Caicedo, Gallagher's not going to stay next to Caicedo. He's going to leave space. We spoke about this, right? He was leaving Caicedo alone. So again, 100%. Gallagher's first thought is, I need to be in the front of the pitch pressing, and his job was maybe to press as a front 2 with Palmer. It's leaving the midfield very exposed. It's 2v3s in there. Whatever you will. You know, if this is why I wasn't against keeping Andre Santos, because I think he could be of use to us. If we're not going to have Leslie Okachoku and we're not going to have Lavia available, the next best thing is to have Andre Santos, because at least you can plug him into that midfield and shore it up and say, right, we're going to have 3 bodies in there. Even if he's not the tallest, he's good on the ball. He's press resistant. He can pass. He can carry it a little bit. He's a technically sound player. It's another option. So I don't know. I just feel like we could have kept that. We could have had that as an option. But
just to add to that, Matisse, what you just said, this is exactly what I said in my preview as well, by the way, what Matisse just mentioned. I said, this is the game plan that we can deploy against Liverpool, and we will have a lot of success if we can stay disciplined and execute it, right? Obviously, our execution is up in the air as well. Just on that Gallagher point that you just made, Matisse, right? Gallagher, his nature is to just go out there and chase and press from the front. I don't know if you lads remember. Do you remember the season when Inter Milan won the Scudetto under Antonio Conte a few seasons back, when Inter Milan won? Inter Milan's style was counter-attacking football under Antonio Conte, right? Yeah. But one of the things that they did, I remember watching them quite a lot, and tactically I saw a lot of different people talk about it, and it made sense because when you watch it, you exactly see it. Inter Milan, they deployed a different style of press. Their press was actually from middle of their ground. So they allowed the opposition to come in as far as middle of their ground. Exactly, Younes. So they didn't want to press from the front. They wanted you to come. You come, and then when you come at a particular area of our pitch, that's when we're going to press. Exactly. And that's when we're going to steal the ball, and then we're going to have runners in behind your defense, and we're going to catch you out. So all of these things about pressing, it doesn't necessarily always have to be up front.
It doesn't.
On their field. You don't have to. You can press in many different areas of the pitch. You can even press from deep.
What is pressing? People forget the definition of pressing. What is pressing? Pressing means you can do this on any part of the pitch. Yeah, any part of you can do it. You can do it high up, or you can do it deep. But if you're applying pressure on the opposition, that's pressing. It's as simple as that.
We play into Liverpool's hands, right? I said first 10, 15 minutes, we need to get through that game and not concede. 15 to 20, we need to try and stamp our authority now. We've got through the first phase of the game. Let's see if we can make a mark. 15 to 20, nothing changed. 20 to 25, nothing changed. We were just getting destroyed, right? And then we conceded. At some point, you've got to change at Pochettino, you've got to change the way that the game is going, right? 100%. We're getting battered. We're clearly getting battered. It's not changed. It's not just now Anfield hype. It's not just now you'll never walk alone hype. It's now we're just getting battered. Regardless of the beginning of the game, the adrenaline rush, the dopamine, whatever, we're just getting battered. So we have to do something to change that. But for me, when we're loaning, so we're going to come to the window, right? I review this window as poor. Not because we didn't panic buy and didn't sign Jason Derulo, as I called him earlier, or we didn't bring in Benzema, who in the end wasn't possible. Derulo. Right? I believe that in a team that's already underperforming, we have weakened the squad. If you look at it like this, Andre Santos was at Nottingham Forest. We've now sent him to Strasbourg. I think that's a very good loan. Now, do I think he's more useful to us than Cassidy? Yes, I do. But that's besides the question, right? We've decided to keep Cassidy and we've decided to loan out Andre Santos. I think Andre Santos is a better player, a better midfielder. I think he would have been much more useful to us, is what it is. Broya's gone, right? To a top flight team to go and potentially try and give them goals. We've now only got Jack. Yeah, let's see how he does. But we've let him go. I think the deal was if he plays more than 10 games, we get no money. If he doesn't, then we get 4 million.
If he starts 10 games of the remaining games, then no money.
No money. Okay.
And if he doesn't start 10 games of the remaining games, up to 4 million.
Up to 4 million. Okay.
So there might be different other
I
things
think
that you need
there's
to
a scale.
hit.
Yeah,
there's a scale.
So we are effectively Jackson or bust up front, right? Because we've seen if Pochettino doesn't trust someone like a Maatsen at left back or Washington, he's not going to play them. So Washington's not going to play. He's going to play Palmer false 9 before he starts Washington. He's going to play Nkuku striker before he starts Washington, and rightly so. But if Nkuku gets injured again, who's not been consistently fit all season, then it's just going to be Jackson and Palmer. So you've basically got no competition for Jackson's position, and you need him to be playing well, consistent, or it's going to be Palmer coming out of position and messing up the whole feng shui. So we're weaker in the striker position. And we've brought back Go Diego, who couldn't get on the bench couldn't get on the bench for Lyon. Yeah, Dora the Explorer's backup dancer couldn't get on the bench for Lyon, who are bottom of the league, they were bottom of the league. And we brought back Cassidy, who wasn't consistently starting at Leicester. We've weakened the squad. Even with, and this is what I'm talking about. When people in the chat are talking about, we need to spend another 100 million to execute it. I've already said we don't need to spend any more money on that midfield. If Pochettino cannot get that midfield balance right when everybody's available, Lavia's and Okuchukwu's, it's important to mention them because they're very important, then long day. Somebody else will have to come in and try that midfield, because there's enough midfielders in the club system, in the multi-club model, Strasbourg, Chelsea, Blues, Clo function. There's enough midfielders there to make a very good midfield, a top midfield, in my opinion, but at least a competent midfield. So for me, we've weakened the team. We've weakened the team. We've actually, with our own options in the club, we've actually managed to weaken our first team. Now, some people will say, of course, we've given Santos and Broja important minutes outside the great loans, and they probably are great loans. But in a team that is constantly having injuries and that is running out of options, so many matches where we're looking at the bench and we're thinking, we got Washington, we got Cassidy. These guys would have got minutes for us, and they would have potentially given us extra points or given us extra opportunities to do well in the league. So I don't know, man. I look at the window and I just think to myself, we just haven't maximized. We haven't capitalized on that one. And now, rest of the season, that's what we've got. That's all we've got is these options. If everybody's fit, it's not a problem. But we know that's not going to happen. We know Lavia and Okuchukwu are not going to be fit at the same time, and Kuku's not going to be fit at the same time as Carney for more than 2 games. We know these things. It's just at this point, it's written. It's the unwritten thing.
It screams on a footballing level that we ain't got a strategy going on whatsoever, right? On a footballing level. On a financial level, I fully understand what's going on, right? This Broja deal financially makes so much sense. Why? Because I'm not saying I agree with it. I completely, like I said, I would want to protect the footballing side first. But anyway, because Broja, what this is going to do is it's going to force Fulham's hand to play him, right? He will play and get minutes, and then in the summer we'll sell him for more, and then pure profit. Brilliant, right? So that will happen. That's the plan. That's the strategy. But when we're looking at the team and on a footballing level, mate, if we're going down this route, right? We've sent Broja on loan, and hence why I've explained we're going to end up selling him, and we're going to try and make as much money as possible. What are we doing with David Washington?
Younes,
waste of
not David, David.
Oh, David. I was
better question. Who looked at 18-year-old Washington at Santos with 425 minutes played, not even more than 5 games in the top flight of Brazil, 18 years old, and said, I can't wait to sign him. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to bring. I think it was, what was it, 20? I don't know, 17?
18 or 20 minutes somewhere there.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah.
I'm pretty certain Vince
who said that?
Matisse. Vince. I'm pretty certain. You know,
me and Vince are gonna have a problem.
But let's if we're gonna be talking about loans and minutes and all of that, well, Washington is here. We've not used him, right? We've still not sent him out on any sort of loan to develop or whatever, but we're not going to play him. So he's just sitting here doing nothing, right? And we know Poch is not going to use this guy. But we've sent Breuer on loan. Why? Because that's pure profit. Whereas Washington won't be, because we've spent money on him. But he's just going to be left to rot. And we're not going to use him. And like you said, now we've just got Jackson. And if it's not going to be Jackson, we're going to have to stick Palmer up top as a false 9. Or we're going to stick Nkunku up there and probably break his legs in two, because he gets injured every 5 minutes, and we're not going to make sure that we actually get any consistency out of him or play him in his best position. We're going to stick him up top and then sabotage ourselves there. But this is why I say, on a footballing level, there's no strategy going on here, man. This is ridiculous. The whole thing is a sham. So it's actually incredible when you think about it. It's incredible.
The squad building is so poor as well. I know when we talk about patterns of play, right, in the attack. Half of it I agree with. I'm like, we need to have a better strategy going forward. But then sometimes I look at these individuals like Madueke and Mudryk, and I think to myself, you lot are not Chelsea level. Let's just keep this a buck. You lot should not be at Chelsea. You're not ready. You're just not ready. You don't have the quality to start at this football club consistently and produce, because you're young, and but also because you're not of that level of talent where it's like, if you're going to be young, you have to be one of the best in the world in terms of up and coming talents. I'm talking, Bellingham's and Mbappe's and, Haaland's. These are the young players that you say, okay, I'm going to buy. Regardless of age, I'm going to bring in because they're actually needle movers. These kids here, they're not ready. They're too inconsistent. But that's fine. They're going to be inconsistent. But we can't have you being inconsistent in the starting 11 because we need results. People are saying, oh, if you just play Mudryk, consistently, he's going to get his thing going. And this is Chelsea.
Yeah.
What positions aren't up for play? Aren't up for grabs now? People need to be given 10 games in a row to give us 2 goals and 2 assists return potentially for us to sit in 9th, 10th. We need 10th. Shooters. We need gunmen. We need forwards that are delivering.
Yeah.
Not nurturing, cuddling, clothing. You get your opportunities, you take them or you don't. And you've been getting enough opportunities, all of them. But they're not ready to do it at this level. That's just look at Cole Palmer. How many opportunities did Cole Palmer need? How much spoon feeding, nurturing, clothing, cuddling did he need to start performing? He came in and he immediately started performing because he's used to being in a high pressured environment in Manchester City and under Pep Guardiola. And he's been coached and trained, and he's of that level where it's like, I'm gonna handle my shit today, not tomorrow, not next week, not the month after. I'm gonna handle my shit today. That's the level of youngster, bare minimum, that you've got to have when you're bringing in, not these other ones that are projects. Because if you're gonna bring in the project youngsters, you need to have the established seniors ahead of them to handle business whilst they're doing all of this, developing and growing and nurturing and milk and little horse. And bro, we can't have
it. Can't be the whole team,
bro. I'm telling you, it's the way that the squad building has gone from this sporting directors has been insane. I don't know who's telling them to do this, or it's just negligence on their part, because I'm looking at their CVs and where they previously worked, and I'm seeing Wigan Athletics and Derby Counties before the Brightons, right? So maybe you just don't know what you need at this level. I don't know, but it's absolute negligence, I'm telling you, of the highest. And then you're looking at your most senior attacker in Sterling, and ain't nobody looking to him for leadership, I'm afraid, in terms of like consistency. His whole thing is inconsistency. So that's just you just got to leave him to do what he's doing on one side. If I could tell you now that like Pedro Neto and players like this would just not be injury prone, I swear I'd swap them for what we have right now. I'd do it tomorrow. Like, I would just do it tomorrow without second thought. I just want players that have clear attributes, that are established, refined, and ready to go in starting positions. If we're talking about starting 11 Chelsea positions, these are the type of players we need. Players that are ready to perform. If you want to give a couple positions to youngsters, no problem, but not this many positions.
Exactly.
Not this many positions.
Yeah.
Mudryk and Madueke, I don't know. Someone's going to have to go in the summer, if not both, because the way I see it is the wide positions. It's not just about the striker for me. It's about the wide areas, because these are when you look at the way our midfield has been built under this ownership, Enzo doesn't give you goals. Caicedo doesn't give you goals. Lavia doesn't give you goals. Andre Santos, you know what I mean? None of these guys are giving goals. They're not Szoboszlai's with their shooting tech. They're not giving us even those McAllister long shots. They're not giving us the Jones goals. So De Bruyne, I can keep going. Bernardo Silva, all these teams with goals in their midfield. That's fine. We don't have goals in our midfield. No problem. There better be goals in the forward line. And Mudryk, Madueke, newsflash, these lot are not bringing goals to the forward line for at least another 2-3 years. It's just not going to happen. We need to be bringing in serious, ruthless killers into this front line in the summer. I don't care whose feelings have to get hurt. I'm sorry. I've been saying I'm not really gonna, pick between Madueke and Mudryk in terms of, because I don't really care. They're not high. They're not of a level yet for me to be saying, oh yeah, this is the guy. No, they're just not. They can both just play in the same category until further notice. But for me, because 1 minute people will be like, oh, Madueke is way better than Mudryk. Madueke drops a stinker. Oh, Mudryk is way better than Mudryk comes on, drops a stinker. I'm bored of it. Yep. But it's not their fault. They're just not ready. That's all it is.
The levels are not there. Yeah.
In one hand, I'm actually quite glad that the board didn't do any business, because it saved us from a lot of embarrassment. Their primary target was John Duran. That's a fact. That's a fact, by the way, because it was reported by Matt Law, it was reported by David Ornstein, it was reported by Fabrizio Romano as well. So I'm glad you didn't do any business. I am so happy, because you could have made a complete foolery of yourself by getting the likes of John Duran. Adam Wharton of Blackburn was also a genuine interest in midfield, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. That was a genuine interest as well. So these
he's gone to Palace now.
He's gone to Palace. These are the level of players that we were getting linked with. And here we are. We were sitting together, all of us, and the live chat, just literally a couple of weeks ago, thinking maybe Karim Benzema. Like, that's a gunman. Do you mean he's going to come? No. See, this is why, as I said, in one hand, I'm happy we didn't do any business, but just to reiterate what Younes and Matisse just said, who is directing the football club to go for these players? Now, let me tell you, you think about from your workplace, your organization, your CEO, the guy who owns the entire joint, or the guy who, controls the entire joint, they don't know the nitty-gritty of every single department. They've got different heads of department. They then report to the CEO. So think about it this way. So we've got Eghbali and we've got Todd Bowley. At a high level, I think Eghbali would have said to the directors that he's hired that, look, guys, my predominant objective of the season is X amount of money in order to balance the books. If we can reach Europe, that will bring in more revenue. That's a different revenue stream. And player sales as well, right? Buying for cheap, selling for more. Like pretty much a stock market policy. That's my objective at a high level. Now, I don't expect Todd Bowley and Eghbali to know who Adam Wharton is, or to know who John Duran is, or to know. They don't know that. At a high level, they don't know that. So to answer the question, who are targeting these players? It's our directors. It's purely our sporting directors and their connections from what they know from previous jobs in Brighton and Monaco and so on and so forth, because they go into a spreadsheet, they throw in all the data, and then they crunch out the numbers, and it says Adam Wharton or John Duran.
And they buy young, low cost before they...
Low wages. Look,
low wages
few things.
Before they...
Low wages, low transfer fee, young. These three have to be met. These three criteria have to be met.
That's the word you just mentioned, criteria.
Yes.
So it goes. I think they go hand in hand. I think the owners have set out criteria. I think the directors. Yeah. And the directors have gone out to find exactly what complements that criteria.
Correct.
And at the same time, they're getting in absolute crap. And
but they'll meet the objective, Younes. But they'll meet the objective of the owners.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It will fulfill what is being expected of them by the ownership,
Correct.
And at the same time, the ownership will be happy that those directors are giving them what they've asked for. Do you know what I mean?
Correct.
It's all mediocre. It's mediocre here and it's mediocre here. And they're going hand in hand and they're giving us mediocre. That's basically
Beautiful.
it. And again, you look at the tools that we're using, and we've already spoken about AI Scout and all of this madness and trying to find, using data. And we've heard Jose Feliciano speak on the importance of using data and trying to get ahead of the curve, in the game by using, things like AI and the way that it's all heading, not just football, but multi-industry, to try and get ahead of the curve of other clubs. So we already know where that way of thinking is coming from. And then we're having these directors who think it's okay and are going along with it. And they're giving us what they believe is right. And they're doing absolute rubbish as well. It's all. This is why the whole structure is effed.
And Younes, the one director that might have gone against this policy got sacked because he thought, this is probably.
I think he just left. Did he not just leave?
Well, he probably just left. He just got up and said, "You can't run the show like this. Like, this is Chelsea Football Club. This is not a selling club." He probably looked at the entire policy and thought, "This is, you do your thing. I'm out of here. Let me go somewhere else. You guys carry on with the way you want to do it." So we were in a predicament, and then to compound all of that, so where the owners and the directors perhaps could have been saved to a certain degree is if they actually went out and got a manager that actually suits the players that they assemble, right? Where they've gone and compounded this mistake even further by getting someone like Pochettino, who they've not completely researched on. They just purely went by the fact that he develops young kids. So I'm going to influx the team with as many under 23s as possible because Pochettino is going to turn them all into 100 million players.
Yeah.
So cha-ching, revenue stream, a new revenue stream. But what they fail to understand here is that's not what Poch does. He's able to work with few kids like any other managers, but he's not running a under 23s show here in the Premier League competing against Liverpool and City and Arsenal and so on and so forth. So this is where they've missed the trick. Not only you've got a foul strategy, but you've compounded with a manager that can't play with these type of players. Very few can play with these type of players. Let me put it out there. I know Younes and I, we want, in recent times we've said
no manager wants this.
Jose Mourinho will
no
not
manager wants
this.
this.
Jose Mourinho will not succeed with this.
No,
maybe maybe Asari. I think maybe Asari can do a job. Like, I don't know, maybe.
Do you know what is it? It's not even just the, when we talk about the players are not as bad as they're being made to look, right? Which I agree with. I don't think they should be getting slapped up at Anfield like that. Like, it's not about saying that the players are not of a certain level. Some of them, let me say some of them, like you said, some of them are not good enough. 100%. Some of them are really not good enough, right? It's also about the fact that these players together don't make sense. It's you don't have balance here. You don't have any balance here. Okay, you're building an attack. Do you have a goal scorer down the center, or do you have goal scoring wingers? Neither. You have neither. None. Oh wow, yeah. That's something. You have anybody that can strike a ball cleanly from distance? No. Okay. Anybody that can head the ball in the box when the crosses come in? No. Okay. Shit. Do you at least have a free kick taker? Anybody? No. Like I can say, okay, let's win free kicks. No. Okay. Like there's just so many things you don't have.
Yeah.
What you do have, don't get me wrong, you have something, but you don't have so many things that no manager looks at this and thinks, so that's appetizing. Like I wouldn't go in there and rip up the whole show and not start it again completely. But if we're talking about targets, I'm not putting up with these targets that you're trying to shove down my throat. I'm not bringing in these youngsters on top of more youngsters on top of youngsters. I'm not stockpiling youngsters. I'm not doing that. And this is where we get to the conversation of, if this is how they're committed to running it, everybody can cuss in the chat. Everybody can cuss in the chat and be like, oh, I don't like this manager. You were wrong. No problem. Okay, no problem. But if they're not going to change the way that they operate and who they target, and then they're going to keep going for the Jason Derulos and they're going to keep going for the Adam Walters, whatever the hell bro, tell me which manager's coming in to handle this and not either implode inside the first 3 months or just not take the job anyway. Because we got rejected by Nagelsmann, no? Or was it Enrique? Which one was it that we broke down talks for both?
Yeah, Nagelsmann as well broke down because Vivel's situation over there. And I think similarly with Enrique as well. I think Enrique demanded a few players. They didn't like the players. It all comes down to that criteria that I mentioned. It has to fit. It has to fit that under 23, under 25, low wages, low transfer fee. All the things that you've just spat out, Matisse, in the likes of, do they have quality up front? Can they do this? Can they do that? I don't think they're really looking at the footballing side of things too much, because if you are, you're not looking at John Duran then.
It's not the priority. This is the thing. The strategy.
Oh, go on.
The strategy with the management as well is to make sure they get someone in that's just going to comply. At least, like Pochettino, you can't tell me Pochettino is happy. He's not happy, I'm pretty sure. But is he going to kick up a fuss about it or not? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's managers that will probably not be happy with the situation, but they'll just go along and be like, I'll deal with what I have, and I'll see what I can do, and that's it. Instead of actually, even privately, I'm not saying come out and make a public statement, like, no, but privately, behind the scenes, are you turning rooms upside down or not? Like, are you letting them know exactly what needs to be heard or not? And that's where you'll get some managers that would do that, and you'll get some managers that won't. We're getting managers in, and this is what I'm afraid of, is that if we were to get rid of Poch, we don't get rid of the directors that we've got, we don't change the direction we're going in, well, we're just going to replace Poch with another person that's exactly the same. We'll get another puppet in. And then it'll be back to square one of the same issue. And then we'll be here in a year from now talking about the same thing again. This is the correlation of what's going on and why we are in this mess. Pochettino, realistically, with what he brings, shouldn't have been targeted in the first place. If we're not going to actually compliment at least him or get exactly what this team needs. This team needs balance. Matisse is correct when he's saying this team screams that it needs balance. With the young players that we have, I'm not saying gut all of them, but the best ones that are there that have the possibility of hitting the level, cool. Complement those players like a Cole Palmer, right? I believe Cole Palmer can go far, but he needs top ballers next to him, like he had at City, to develop and look up to and grow and then get to that level once those players are too old and they retire or they go and they leave. Cole Palmer steps in and he's ready. Liverpool done that against us beautifully, right? They were able to start with Bradley, right? Rest Robertson and Trent and stick them on the bench. Result is in the pocket. Bring them on to assure the result. And then with 10 minutes to go, academy boy, Clark, go and have 10 minutes, mate, plus stoppage time. Not 90, 10, 15 minutes. Go and get some minutes, get some experience at the top level against Chelsea. We're winning 4-1, no pressure. Go and have some minutes, right? Build up that experience. Take our time. Beautiful blend of exactly what's needed between top talent, experience, and the academy lot coming through. Beautifully executed. With us, it's the complete opposite. It's bonkers.
Younes, the only way this board and the owners, this whole yes man policy, right? This whole thing about if Poch goes, they're just going to look for another yes man. The only way they're going to stumble across a manager, a yes man, that actually fits the squad is just by luck. Do you know what I mean? Like, just by going through all these yes man. Eventually, 1 in 20 yes man might actually meet the criteria of the squad, like might actually match the criteria of the squad. It's not by design. It's purely, it's much like what Spurs did. Postecoglou was Spurs' 5th choice. It didn't happen by design. It was by luck. They had a whole heap of other candidates well ahead of him. That is what needs to happen with us now. By luck, not by design. It's praying and that you go through all these yes men and one eventually hits. Do you know what I
But
mean?
this is the
And
thing.
That might be 5 years later. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes and no. Because yes, I agree. It will take that long, but it goes back to the original intention. You know, are we actually looking to try and win, or is our prime focus on generating income?
We're not
It's the
looking to win,
intention.
Younes. It's simple.
Well, this is the thing, because then we're going to try and fit everything within this team, manager included, based on generating as much income as possible. And if we're doing
Correct.
that, you can forget about actually getting success. Because
This is what I'm
the
saying.
intention
The
isn't that.
But this is what I'm saying, Younes. The success will have to be by luck. It will have to be by luck.
Success don't come by luck.
But this is what I'm saying. It can, the way
This is
they're
the thing.
running.
It won't come.
It won't come. That's what I'm trying to
won't
get
come.
to.
It won't
come.
It won't
Do you know what I mean? And if it does come, it's by some weird anomaly that happened in the world, like Leicester winning the Premier League. Some weird stuff. Because
even then,
because if you truly want to win, you do what Roman did with Jose Mourinho. That's showing that you want to win, right? Peter Kenyon and the right managers and the right players and experienced players, this, that, the other. Right now, if you put everything on the table, let's lay everything on the table, right? Owner's vision, directors, the way they're moving, the players that are coming, the manager. Tell me these are all aligned and pointing towards success. It's
all
not.
Every single one of them is messed. Yeah.
It's all pointed towards finding some level of commercial success.
Yeah.
Because if we were looking at footballing success, you will not have those directors. You will not have that manager, and you will not have some of these players. It's as simple as that.
Mate, we're sticking movie titles on the substitutes in the lineup. Like, it tells you like where the focus is, bruv. We've got a movie title as part of the substitutes because we're promoting.
Oh, is that what that was?
Argyle.
I was wondering what the hell that was.
I thought that was a player.
Bruv, I nearly typed him out on the subs bench.
Is he not a player?
I swear
Bruv,
to God, I
it's
nearly
a movie
typed
that
him
we're
out on the subs
promoting.
bench.
It's the same movie that we were promoting with the guys sitting behind the bench reading some book and brushing their teeth. And the banner above the shed end was changed to a movie. It's Argyle, and then on the lineup we had Argyle as part of the substitutes next to Bergstrom. Like,
I was telling the live chat, who's this Argyle? I've never heard of him. Can someone tell me who Argyle is?
You know what's funny? Yesterday, I think the first review of that movie came out. I think by the Telegraph or something. And I know movie critics can be not so reliable, but the first review came out as 1 out of 5. So.
Good.
Looks like we've done a good job.
I'm glad that crashed and burned.
5.
That's what you get. Hold that, you donkeys.
1 out of 5.
Good.
That ain't a movie. That's a horror show.
Let's go through some super chats. Ethan says McAllister dunking on Enzo and Caicedo, scary or crazy. Sorry, crazy. Get rid of these novice directors and get me Edwards, says Kingsley. Edwards just rejected Liverpool.
He just rejected Liverpool, yeah.
Yeah, he just rejected him.
He doesn't want to go back into work just yet.
I just don't think he wants to come to Chelsea either. It's too much of a mess.
That brother's having one hell of a. But he walked into Liverpool as a mess. I think he likes messes.
But what I mean by mess
maybe that's why he doesn't want to go back.
What I mean by mess is I don't know if he will enjoy working with these owners that are so fixated on under 23s only.
It depends if they are. If they're not fixated and it's the sporting directors we have, then if we bin them and bring in Edwards and Todd Bowie and Egbali are allowing him the freedom. Now, the only problem is, do you have that much wriggle room now? Because these men spent $1 billion. Now, FFP, we're going to speak on FFP in a minute. Yeah. Like, do we even have, for a new sporting director, do they even have the funds or the flexibility to stamp their authority on this team? Because we've just spent $1 billion on children, you know what I'm saying? So that's the problem, really. That's the biggest issue, I think. But yeah, why are we still talking about the back three protecting our midfield? Didn't we revamp the whole squad so we can move away from that problem? Yeah, I think we did, but he wants to play Gallagher at the top of that, obviously, of that too. I think if Ogachukwu and Lavia were available, I would just play the 3. I would just play Enzo Caicedo and one of those two. But because they're not available and Andre Santos we're not going to use, there's nobody else to put in that 3-man midfield apart from Gallagher. Because once you go Carney and Cuckoo, you're not fixing the potential problem in the deeper area. And I'm talking about just getting cut up in midfield. The only thing you can do as well, if you're Poch, is just stop putting Enzo in higher positions. That would also be nice as well. There's plenty of potential solutions here, but the back three is just one of them. If he's going to keep letting Caicedo be isolated, then that's just one of the solutions. Is just get a few wing backs in there and give him a bit more help. Let's see what else is being said. The Chelsea players must have assumed the mascot left alone at Anfield was probably a player in the squad rather than a mascot, says Clara. I saw Younes' video on this yesterday. Yeah, what was it? The kid was left on his own after the whole pre-match stuff was done, and then they went off to do their huddle. The kid was just standing there.
Did you hear what Chelsea said, by the way? Did you hear what they had?
Wasn't he?
Yeah, but did you hear what Chelsea had to say as well, right?
Yeah. Just embarrassing.
And as far as I'm concerned, that whole thing is BS. It's not Liverpool's responsibility for the mascots at that moment. It's the captains, both captains, because there's a mascot here and a mascot there. It's both captains. You at least what you need to do is just direct the kid to go back to the touchline. Simple as that. And you see the kid running back, and then he'll get picked up by some sort of, I don't know, some officer or someone who's there and looked after.
Chilwell's the captain, right? So there you go.
Simple as that.
Conversation over.
And
maybe Silver as Gallagher as well, because they have been captains. I don't know, but
Gallagher as well, because Gallagher ran past him. You can look at the video. You see Gallagher literally running past the kid. The kid's just like this, and Gallagher's has gone right next to him. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I don't even want to bring, like I said yesterday, I don't even want to bring JT into this. Yeah, because
there's no point.
It wouldn't even cross his mind to abandon a kid. Like, forget John Terry. But would Lampard have forgotten him? Would Drogba have forgotten him? Would Cech have forgotten him? Would Essien have forgotten him?
All of these guys were captains. All of these guys were captains for their national teams. We had about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 captains in our starting 11. So we used to have nothing but captains. Now we have no captains and people masquerading as captains fraudulently.
Yeah.
Chilwell is not captain material.
No.
If you didn't already know, and if you didn't already, I don't know how this worked. He is not captain material. He is not a leadership figure. I'm sorry. I know he's nice and he gets along with all the players and he's a bubbly character. That is where it stops, I'm afraid. It ends there. He is not a captain. I didn't need this moment or the game or any of these things to tell me that. He's not a captain. If he's a captain, if Gallagher's a captain, if these guys are, even James, unfortunately, because you can't be fit.
Bro, Levi Colwell is a captain.
Colwell, if these guys are captains, then again, this is just another example of why we are where we are. Simple as that. Maybe for a 10th place team, these are the captains, but not for a top team. They're not. What would you guys dream as successful tenure for Clear Lake and Co. For the next 10? Win titles.
Simple.
Titles. Win Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues. That is the only barometer of success that I'm interested in. I don't care about how much profit we made on Leslie Okachuku or Washington or Datro Fofana or Whisper. I don't care about profit. I'm not interested in it. Just trophies. Trophies is the only barometer. That's where we judge whether you've been successful or not. If you haven't picked up big titles, you haven't been successful. Simple. Very simple. How many? That's all given the context of how we exit and enter these competitions and, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not really going to get into how many because football is sometimes on fine margins, but you need to be in positions to win trophies and you need to win some trophies. That's just it. Some big ones as well. Not FA Cups that you can just kind of just ride your luck on a little bit. So after Silver leaves, we have no world-class centre-backs. We need a centre-back, a striker, a full-back, a winger. I'm not gonna agree with the midfielder. I'm sorry. If Enzo can't run, then he can't play midfield. It's funny because we've had midfielders before that are not the fastest, but we actually just put together a proper, we put together a system that sorted that. You're not going to have every single attribute for every single player in every position. You're going to have weaknesses in the squad or weaknesses in people's games, but their strengths should outweigh their weaknesses, and you should be able to minimize the weaknesses. That's the point. But yeah, this is a madness.
No,
This is what I mean. This is what I mean.
It screams how much money we've spent, what we're still lacking, and the current level of players that we have in the team. It's a mess. It's a mess. The fact that what you said there is actually pretty accurate, right? Where, as far as I'm concerned, we still need to build a spine. It needs to be done. We still ain't got it. And it's not going to be Victor Osimhen coming in the summer that's going to click everything. No, he's going to be a part of that. We still need to address.
This is the thing, right?
We're not going to go and get experience and winners and players that are going to come in and do the job, are we? That's the problem.
So this is the thing, right? I'm going to play that FFP video in a minute. Do you?
Yeah.
If you have a certain amount of money, do you not blow it, but do you spend all of it on an Osimhen, or do you try to break it up and say get a Tony with a year left and try and get a winger? Because this is what I'm talking about, right? People are saying, "Oh, why don't you want Tony?" Tony effectively could, with his wages as well, which needs to be brought into account because he's going to want top wages, right? He could effectively blow our budget. Because the release clause, and I'm going to say this now, the release clause has to be paid up front at once. That's what a release clause is. It's not amortized over multiple years like the rest of the transfers. A release clause has to be paid up front immediately. So he could blow our budget. It's not paying 80 million over 5 years and then the first... Well, let's just make it simple. It's not paying 80 million over 4 years, so you pay 20 million and the 60 million gets offshored into the... It's 100 and whatever it is up front. So if you want Osimhen that badly, are you willing to say that the rest of the squad, or just leave it how it is? Because if you, man, want left back, winger, striker, I'm here to tell you you're not getting all that. I'm here to tell you now, you're not getting all that. So what are we going to do? That's the question. What are we going to do? Or do we...
You know what?
Or do we have to get Sesko for 43 million? What are we going to do? We don't have endless money.
It's a good point you've raised. Because after that TalkSport video come out, that raised a few eyebrows. And if you remember, this is where something's mismatching here. Something's not right. We heard not long ago, right? We heard, do you remember this? Where we were told, no, Chelsea are not constraining their spending based on FFP. We're fully within FFP. We have funds. We're not choosing to not spend because we have to comply with FFP. We're well within the books. Everything's all good. Don't worry. Now we heard what we heard yesterday. And it's true. We haven't done any business in January. So what is it? Do we have enough funds and are we complying and we're well within the black, as we want, as the economists say? Like, are we actually all good on a financial level, or do we actually not have money to spend and we are actually looking to get sanctioned, or like it's one of the two. So when you raise that point about what we saw on TalkSport yesterday, and now you start to see the whole pure profit thing that we're looking to do, it does add up. It does add up as to maybe we've blown it. Maybe we have all the billion that we've spent. Maybe we've actually put ourselves in a hole here. Maybe we have. And if we have, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble because we might just about escape the whole FFP thing if we do sell Broya and Gallagher and whoever is going to generate pure profit. Maybe even a Reece James down the line. Who knows? It could come to that, right? But if we're not going to bring anyone in that we're actually needing to get this team to a level, then we're in trouble.
Let's listen. I haven't decided on this clip yet. I only heard it once, so I just want to listen to it. I mean, this is coming from a... let me just get his kind of resume up. What is he? He's a former financial expert for Manchester City, I believe. That's his background. That's his context on speaking on this situation. Stefan Borson, former financial advisor. Stefan Borson, former financial advisor to Manchester City, right? So again, I'm a fan. He's a financial advisor to one of the top clubs in the country. So I'm not gonna I'm not going to diminish his opinion off bat. You know what I mean? He must know what he's talking about. This is what he does on it for a living. Let's hear what he's got to say before I say something.
Chelsea have spent, since Bully and Egbali came in, Chelsea have spent something in the region of £1 billion. So how have they managed to get around FFP? That's what everybody's asking.
Yeah, well, look, they've used
Is there trouble on the horizon?
tricks of amortization. In my mind, there's certainly trouble on the horizon, and they will certainly fail financial fair play for the current season, unless, it seems to me very unlikely that by the 30th of June this year, they sell well over £100 million of players. But the window that they can now do that, now that the window is about to slam shut,
Close quietly.
close quietly this year, it's going to be very small because the season is going to finish and we've got the Euros. So if you look at someone like Gallagher is going to be in the Euros from the 14th of June. So if they want to ship Gallagher before the 30th of June, they've got to move very, very quickly. And again, the likely buyers are going to know that Chelsea need to sell players. This breach that Chelsea are lined up for is much bigger than Everton's breach. And most importantly, from an aggravating perspective, they will consider it deliberate. It won't be, they can't hide behind having built a stadium or inadvertently breach financial fair play. So if they breach, when it comes to the assessment of the sanction, and remember the way this works.
If they breach or when, now
well,
that
I think they'll breach, but the period, the accounting period is not over yet. I mean, let's be fair to Chelsea. And, I have lots of people telling me, well, you just sell Conor Gallagher for 60 million, you sell Brozier for 40, you sell James for 30, or, whoever it is, people come up with this list of players that they can just sell, but there's no buyers. There's no money in the game at the moment outside of the Premier League, and the Premier League are not stupid. They're not going to bite on these crazy prices for players that they don't rate that highly, where they know that Chelsea are over barrel.
Interesting. I mean, we this is not really even new information. We know we need to sell. We know that. Like, that's why they're trying to get money for Maatsen. That's why there's a certain fee after that Dortmund loan to trigger a release clause of like 35 million. That's why they're trying to maybe put Broyer's fee higher than it actually should be, because it's a stupid fee that no one's going to pay. But they want money for Broyer. They want money for Gallagher.
Lewis Hall, I think, has a obligation as well.
Lewis Hall is the only guaranteed income that we have coming in from those loans, which is the 28 million from Newcastle, because he just has to play a certain amount of games and whatnot. And now, let me say this, because there was a report that he has to play a certain amount of games to exercise and hit that clause. Now Newcastle have their own financial difficulties, and they are, not making as much money revenue wise as they need to spend, etc. So I don't know if they're definitely going to pay for Lewis Hall, in terms of, I don't know what the clauses are, and I don't know if it's like done or if it needs to still get there. Or
that got didn't that get, I don't know, backtrack, but that got
Eddie Howe came out.
Apparently it's not based on appearances.
Okay, good. Well,
so
it's not good, because
apparently they will be paying, but
Look,
okay.
Bottom line is there is definitely, we're not foolish. We can see the level of spending that the new owners have come in, and they've done ridiculously spent on so many young players as well. I think under 23s, no, even go under 21s. I think there's a stat that's gone around. We've spent around 150 million just on 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, all the different kids that we've bought. We've spent somewhere around 150 million. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that somewhere along the way, you're going to have to balance the books. I think last summer it started with the sales of Mount, Havertz, Kovacic, and so on and so forth. I think this upcoming summer, it's going to continue. Without a shadow of a doubt, Conor Gallagher has to go. Without a shadow of a doubt, Chalobah has to go. Without a shadow of a doubt, Broya, after this loan spell, will have to go. So, and this is why, don't get surprised if Alfie Gilchrist goes as well. This is why getting these minutes and he's, performing well, someone's going to come and buy him for 20 million. So
but if it has to be done before that date, and I'm just saying, if it does have
30th
to
of
be done
June.
before that date,
Yeah.
right, that he's mentioned, and the Euros are on,
There's
Yeah.
Euros,
is there a worry that we won't get that
There
done
is a
before those
worry.
dates? Because
course,
when
there
we
is a
talk
worry.
about selling players, we talk about selling players for the whole window. If you
Yeah.
give us up until the deadline day, okay, no problem. We'll make it work somehow, some way. These deals will get done. But if you tell us we need to get it done before July, if we have to, I'm just going based off the video. He could be chatting absolute rubbish. I don't know.
No, you have
I
to
don't have
because the accounting period ends 30th
Yes,
July.
that's
So
what I'm
you
saying.
have to. He's
I
not
don't
chatting
know.
shit. He's actually not chatting shit.
I don't know if he's doing too much. I don't know if he's trying to fearmonger. I don't know because I don't have the numbers. I can't. The people that are just blindly saying, "Oh, he's just rubbish, just chatting rubbish." We don't know because we don't have the numbers. We don't have the finances. We're not in charge of this, so we actually don't know what's going on. Really, we have to hope that these guys are too intelligent to put us in a position where that is even a possibility, right? And that we don't have to hit that deadline for the accounting period. But if we do, then it's a very sticky situation because, we know there's Gallagher interest, but he has to agree to leaving. So that means you're going to have to tell Gallagher, just like Barcelona had to tell some of their players, you actually have to leave or you're going to put us under severe pressure as a football club. You're going to have that conversation with Gallagher in May and say, you may not want to accept the contract offer from Tottenham or from whoever we get a bid from, but you actually have to. We need you to. We are asking you to. That conversation may have to happen because Gallagher's not just going to pick up his shit and go, regardless of people having him in their list on the Twitter.com or on the X. This is our sell list. Doesn't mean Gallagher says that's the sell list. Gallagher is in control. He's always been in control since last January when Everton came in for him. Why? Because he plays. He's going to the Euros with England, most likely, because Southgate will probably take him, right? Mason Mount's not there, so Gallagher will definitely go. He's going to be playing games at Chelsea until the end of the season. Pochettino rates him. There's nothing to stop Gallagher from staying until the end of his contract or staying until the end of the year and waiting to become a free agent who can talk with 6 months to go in next January and putting pressure on the board to give him the contract that he feels he deserves. And then stay in for 4 more, 5 more, 6 more, 7 more, 8 more years. Or do you want to let me go for free? If I'm Gallagher and I'm not thinking about, anything other than I want to be at Chelsea, I love this club and I'm playing. And statistically, for many metrics, I'm leading. So I'm not the worst guy out there, in my opinion. All right. I'm saying I ain't going anywhere. I'm staying. And you lot are gonna have to let me go for free.
Exactly.
You look, and we can't have it both ways, fans, because we ask for player loyalty all the time. So now we can't say, "Oh, you prick, get out! How dare you?" He wants to be here. He loves it. You might not.
Contract's a contract.
Yeah, contract's a contract. You might not like him, you might not rate him, but he loves the club. He's showing loyalty. He wants to be here. He wants to stay. So if I'm him, I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. You wanna let me go? All right, cool. Let's see if you want to let me go for free. You want to let me go for free? Let's see what pure profit you're getting out of this. Because I didn't cost nothing. So I don't even feel guilty if I'm him. Like if I cost 50 million, I'm thinking, oh geez, they really put a lot of money on this, Damn, I really need to give back, and they spent a lot of money on me. They didn't spend no money on Gallagher, so it's nothing off Gallagher to say I'm leaving on a free, and you ain't getting no pure profit out of me. I'm just gonna go for free, and I'm gonna take that signing on fee, and I'm gonna triple it or quadruple it because there is no transfer fee on me, and I'm gonna make my money.
Gallagher will be the winner in this.
Yeah, Gallagher could win all of this.
The only way
I'm doing this for Mason Mount, mate. I'm doing this for Mason Mount.
The only way Chelsea can perhaps get a upper hand here is if they actually tell Gallagher that I'm about to sabotage your international career. I'm not gonna be playing you. I'm gonna demand Pochettino to start you until the end of this season, and I'm gonna sabotage your international career. You're not going to Euros. But that's the only way I can picture Chelsea getting an upper hand here.
I think he still go to Euros because he takes.
I was going to say Southgate
Phillips.
is definitely taking Gallagher. Best believe.
In that case, then Gallagher is not going to lose at all.
Playing
Then,
at Ajax and West Ham, you know, it makes it more complicated.
In that case, then Gallagher is in absolute control, because if he's already got Southgate's words that regardless of what minutes you play from now till May, June, you're in. Even if you don't play a single minute for Chelsea Football Club ever again, you're gonna be in. Then Gallagher's not losing. But the only way Chelsea get a foothold here is, as I said, they tell Poch, don't play him. We're going to force him to get a deal pre-agreed, hush-hush, behind the corner with Spurs so that he sticks to his word that come June, you're leaving and you are still able to play for Chelsea Football Club until then. So there's got to be, it's going to be a bit of a standoff, basically.
It could get nasty.
It will get nasty.
I'm expecting to see more briefings. And I'm expecting it to get 100%. More toxic on the briefing side. Yeah, I'm expecting because if you're Chelsea and you need this deal to, because let's be honest, Gallagher could be a make or break for them. They see that as potentially 50 to 60 million pure profit on the balance books. That's a lot of money. That's 2 Matsons, right? That's maybe even 3 Chalobahs, right? That's probably maybe 2 or 3 Broyers, depending on if he bangs goals or he doesn't. Gallagher's kind of market value is kind of set, but he's only got a year left, so that might hamper it or hurt it a little bit. But that was the same with Mount. It could get very nasty from a PR briefing, reporting side of things to the end of the season, because I know they're gonna have to make things uncomfortable.
On a broader perspective, I think this is an interesting question that I'm just about to pose here, because similar things has happened to Barcelona, and certain players apparently has taken pay cuts and this, that, the other, and they've foregone, some of their wages to keep the club floating. I want to throw a question to you guys. If it is 100% clear by May, June, whatever, that Chelsea will get sanctioned and they may lose, let's say, 10 points deduction, 20-point deduction at the start of next season, Gallagher being the Chelsea through and through, is he going to see his club get hurt, minus 10 points, minus 20 points, because he wants to tell the club, that's not my problem?
Well, listen,
that's your problem.
That will have to be a private conversation. That'll be a.
What would you guys do if you were Chelsea through and through? What would you guys do if you're Chelsea through and through?
People think this sport is beautiful. It's ugly behind the scenes.
It's very ugly.
Imagine the heat Gallagher's going to get from the fans.
No, bro. Respectfully,
that's not. You didn't leave, and we're getting points because of you.
No, it's not
Gallagher. It's not Gallagher's responsibility, respectfully, for why Chelsea are in this mess.
Anybody who tries to blame it on Gallagher is dead.
So you guys will be okay with the minus 10, minus 20 points? No, I won't. And Gallagher stays.
You know who I'm going to be blaming?
That's not Gallagher's fault.
I'm going to be blaming the ownership.
But Gallagher can leave.
I'm going to be blaming. No, I'm going to be blaming.
It's not on him. It's not on him to save the club based on what they're doing.
But now it's got to that point that it is on him. Do you know what I'm saying?
I promise you. No. We're not going to do this. No. This is what we're not going to do. This is what we're not going to do. Miz, I promise you, I'm making this promise right now. If it gets to that point and those meetings are being had and those little, please, we need you to leave because we need to break. I'm telling you now, I'm sticking it on this ownership. I'm sticking it on these sporting directors. And that's it. Nobody else below that is taking any heat for this. It's not their job.
Yeah,
you do not ask an employee to run the company.
Get ready for the minus 20 points,
happening.
Lads.
Any Chelsea player,
again, and it's not Gallagher's fault.
This is not coming from a Gallagher fanboy, right? Yeah. Any Chelsea fan who even dares flip the script and the narrative in that way, I'm sorry,
fault, by the way.
You are very dense and you are very, very
Poch
bad.
Should have never used Gallagher. That's Poch's fault. Gallagher was penciled down to be sold.
Bro, Gallagher makes like 50, 60k. How much does Gallagher even make? He makes like 50, 60k.
Bro, Gallagher had a 40 million offer, last January. We could have got 40 million.
He didn't want to go.
Is this
Gallagher seems very powerful. Seems like he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to do this.
I'm gonna
Chelsea needs to bow down to Gallagher. It seems like
I'm gonna spin this the way I'm gonna like it. Is this accounting for the last 3 years, Miz? Is this how it is?
Yeah. Well,
All right, who come in let me ask you, who come in 2022 after we won the Champions 2021, 22 after we won Champions League? Because that's within this period.
Who
Say that
came
again?
in after?
Say that
Who
again.
came in? I
Lukaku,
think it was 21.
Lukaku.
Romeo Lukaku.
Yeah.
325k a week, 100 million we're paying your clot. Right.
But
Again,
you know what
now
the new owners will say?
he
The
will
new
get
owners
the
will say,
blame.
we didn't do that.
I don't give a shit. He will get the blame. He. Oh, you will be in big trouble if we get points deduction. You better never show your bald head around this city again. I'm telling you, you will be finished.
But lads, you know what I'm trying to say? The bigger picture is something needs to happen, or else you're not getting any targets for next season. The owners and the board have made a mess. We've all agreed on that. They've made a major mess,
Mate.
But that doesn't mean keep now making more messes after messes. The point of the fact is, by June 30th, whether you guys like it or not, or the live chat thinks I'm clowning around, the truth of the matter is, pure profit has to hit in. Or else we are getting docked points.
I mean,
what are you going to take? Docked points?
This is to write off next season.
This
That'll be
is
3
where
seasons in a row.
I swear.
Mate, exactly. This is why it's so concerning. This is why when
This
we
is why we need
this is
Europe.
why when we go
European
back
football.
We're not
Mate,
going to get it.
when we go back when we go back
season, we don't even know how many points we're going to start off next season. I need European football now. I need the TV revenue now.
I agree.
No.
This is why this situation is
I
so
want to
bad,
go
and why
back
some
on.
people some people look and go, "Oh, it's not so bad." Like it's catastrophic, and where it could
I want
go
to go
is
to
really,
Kazakhstan
really
next
bad.
year.
Listen, you know where the problem started. The whole problem started, and everyone will agree on this, is when these lot came in and they gutted everything out. There was no need. It's even the team we had, there was no need to just go and chop everything out. Sell some players, yes. Don't get rid of everybody at once, man. That is what done it, because we've brought in the players that we've brought in and the money that we've spent, and now we're talking about the situation where we're going to have to sell, and we're in this problem of FFP. Like that was the cause. That was the cause. And now we're having to look at a Conor Gallagher, for example, and go, oh, no, he has to go. If not, we're doomed. When that's not his fault. Like for him,
It's not his fault.
he's a deer in his contract. And I want to stay at Chelsea until when you guys are forcing it on me that I can't stay anymore. And for me, that's going to be the end of my contract. So as simple as that. But the problem with Gallagher as well, and this just goes to show, mate, this ownership are happy to sell him to Tottenham.
Yeah.
They're happy to get rid of Gallagher to Spurs. But this is why when Matisse said that this could get really bad in terms of the PR and all that, I fully agree, because we thought it was bad with Mount. Mate, that's a cakewalk compared to what it's going to be with Gallagher, because you best believe there are more fans overall that are on board with the craziness that's going on at the club based on Gallagher than they were based on Mason Mount. With Mount, there was a lot of PR and there was a lot of, you know what, there's player responsibility here. But with Gallagher, I think there's a lot more people that are looking to Gallagher and going, no, we can't sell to Tottenham, whereas compared to Mount and United and the way that went down. I think
It's
more
tough.
people will kick off with Gallagher going to Spurs and the situation that he's in, and the fact that he has control of his contract situation than before. So you're right. This could get more ugly without question.
From a PR standpoint, I think Gallagher is more liked personality-wise than Mount. However,
I agree.
Without the dad situation and him being a Man United fan and the way they handled contracts, Tony Mount versus Vince Stanley, all this stuff. However, I think there's less people that rate Gallagher than they rate Mount. So I think people are more.
I don't know
on board
about that,
with
man. I think a lot of people
because
hate
you have to
Gallagher.
remember Mason Mount had a cult following, and I'm talking about like
That's
Gallagher
true.
don't have a cult following. Gallagher's got a nice following, but he don't have a ride or die. This guy should be captain. He's getting like, okay,
Face
you know
of
what?
Chelsea.
Do you know what? Some people do want him as captain, and people have spoken about getting him a banner.
He has
to
been
be fair.
captain.
So it is a very similar situation. But Mason Mount was a 2-time player of the year, Champions League winner, GA stacker, you know,
Yep.
flat tracker, you know what I mean? it's it's tough. I'm not gonna lie. The minerals, it's a minerals face off. It's a minerals face off. Who's got more minerals? Mason Mount or Gallagher? I don't know.
One thing I will say that we need to probably add to this conversation that other brother from Man City advisor didn't probably take into consideration is that the massive wage deduction that we made, that's a big saver per season for Chelsea Football Club. I think we've foregone somewhere around 40 or 50 million of wages per season. That, like, we've reduced it in the likes of Havertz, in the likes of I think Lukaku's wages, we don't pay his wages, by the way. He's taken a pay cut, and I think Roma is looking after whatever after the pay cut wages are. I think that was the situation with Lukaku, because Chelsea didn't want to pay for that. And in fact, we got a bit of a loan fee. But all the players that we've let go of, I think we made a huge saving. And this is why, as I said, the three criterias: low transfer fee, low wages, and young player, so that there is player value down the track, supposed player value. So in order to get Osimhen, who seems like he does want to come to Chelsea Football Club, and I think Chelsea do want to entertain that, these sacrifices will have to be made. I'm sorry. Whether, I don't know how it's going to happen. Conor Gallagher, is he going to go or not go? Chelsea will have to find a way. They will have to threat him. They'll have to probably threat his life. Mate, if you're not going, you may not see the next day. Do you know what I mean? Or people like Broya, that they will be sold. What I'm trying to say is, some people are saying to me in the live chat that I'm a hater. I'm a Gallagher hater. I've got nothing against him, mate. I'm just painting the picture for you guys that these things have to happen. They must happen, or else Chelsea will be in trouble.
This is the thing, though. Chelsea have put themselves into a position where they don't have the control. If they had the control, fair enough, they've got the control. But they don't have the control. In this one, they don't have the control. Gallagher does hold the cards here. It's pretty...
Yep.
That's... And we've...
What control did what control did the board have with Mason Mount? We still forked out 60 million from him.
They had the fact that
he could have stayed and got a
two things with Mason Mount. Better clubs were interested in him, so it was easier for him to say, okay, I'm actually going to go because Man United are interested, or Liverpool. And the second
Spurs not a better club.
Not from a
it's historical,
not from a historical.
Okay. So it's banter aside. Are Spurs not a better club, though?
Two things. Not from a historical.
One of the better clubs.
No, two things. Not from a historical standpoint, in terms of pedigree and in terms of history and in terms of size. Not from a wages point of view, which is Mason Mount's probably making a killing. And lastly, and obviously Havertz, we know, is making a killing.
Yeah, but Gallagher wants 150k. I think Spurs can give 150k.
Yeah, but still, also Spurs, going from Chelsea to Spurs makes you automatically hated. And that's not what Gallagher wants.
So it's purely emotional based.
It's emotional and it's financial. It's financial as well, because Mason Mount and Havertz are making a killing. Yeah, I know, but
Gallagher knows that Gallagher knows he can get that somewhere else as well.
Yeah, he can get that.
And where's that?
But here's the thing: no other clubs are coming in except Tottenham at the moment.
So if you're Gallagher, you know what I'm trying to say. You're not a big shot.
If he's a free agent, but if he's a free agent at the end, mate, best believe loads of clubs will come in because he's for free.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and then he'll get his
Gallagher
wages
holds the
from more
card
clubs.
there. He'll be able to get his salary that he wants down the line.
Yes.
Tell me which loads of top clubs. Give me one name. If he's free, who's coming for Gallagher? Tell me one name.
If he's free,
City.
At this point, Bayern Munich.
At this point, who knows? It could be.
If Tuchel's still there, Bayern Munich. If Tuchel's still there, Bayern Munich. I'm telling you, if he wants
for free,
Dyer,
clubs will come in for free. Gallagher for free, they'll take him.
If he's got
a
Eric
squad
Dyer,
player,
he'll take him. United potentially will
take him.
him.
I'm actually excited for him to see out his contract.
You're not going to get. No, we're not going to get to that.
I really want to see now.
No, you're not going to see.
I'm keen to see who's coming for Gallagher on free.
Because he's
now become very rated, it seems like.
No, for free, bro. People are gonna be rated higher than you think.
Yes, for sure. On a free, clubs like West Ham, clubs like Aston Villa, they're gonna be coming from. I'm talking about the top of the top range. They ain't coming for Gallagher. You're kidding me.
I think Man United.
Yeah, they're not coming in to pay 50 million. They're not coming in to pay 50. They're coming in. They're coming in if he's free.
They'll take both. For free.
Arsenal's coming in for free.
I don't know about Arsenal, but I think Manchester United 100% for free.
I reckon Liverpool could, I reckon
they could sell McTominay for 30 million and get Gallagher for free.
We don't know what the structure is going to be. We don't
Who
know what
knows?
type of player profiles they're
For
going to look
free,
at.
I could easily see him going to Liverpool and being a squad player for free, 100%. It depends on the manager. Depends on the manager.
Yep.
I want him to go on a free now, actually. I
But
actually
you're not
want
gonna
him
get. We're not
stay.
gonna get to that point. We're not gonna, he's not
Why
gonna-
not? I want to see this. I
Because
want to see this.
we already told. We already explained. It's not happening.
I want to
And
see this
look,
now.
You're not gonna see
This
it.
is the
I'm
point
ready
that
to
this
take
guy.
the minus 10 points. I'm ready to
You're
take that.
ready to take
I
minus 10
want to
points.
see. I want to see where Gallagher goes. I'm ready to take that minus 10,
My
20
God.
points.
This is the point that the guy was making in that video, that clubs are not going to come in and pay that money. They know
No.
Chelsea. If Chelsea are in a situation that we're not quite aware of, but if Chelsea are in a situation, these clubs that in the Premier League know that they're not going to take the bait. They're just going to wait because they're not going to pay that money and they're going to hold on. But this is where what this guy is saying. And I know some people are saying that he's Man City propaganda and all that, but can I just correct that? Mate, he was the same one that came out and said Man City could get relegated because of the 115 charges. He's the one who done that. So I'm not sure that's great Man City propaganda to say that they're probably going to get relegated. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see what this situation is gonna end up looking like in terms of FFP. But with Gallagher, he'll hold the cards without question, and he'll get a move down the line if he leaves for free.
Sure, he'll hold the cards, but in regards to what you just said, that whether Gallagher will get that level of money, transfer fee, not that long ago, Everton came in with 40
But
million.
now clubs are holding their cards close to their chest with the money.
100%.
Yeah, I
So
know,
this
I know, I
this
get it,
January, no
I get
one's
that.
Because they can't waste money.
Because
Yeah.
they know that we are desperate to sell, so I fully understand that.
Yeah.
Chelsea's in a predicament here. I fully get that, but I'm also confident that one thing that we've praised our ownership for and our board for is they handle the business side of things. So if they mess up the business, then what are they good for?
Oh, then
The
we're
thing is,
screwed.
last summer,
What are they good for?
last summer we had a lot of.
They're not getting the football side correct. And if they're not getting
summer,
the business side, then what are you good for?
last summer we had more sellable assets because we were selling our first team, right? This summer we got 3 deadwood players left: Lukaku, Kepa, and Ziyech. Nobody wants these players. Nobody wants these players. That's why they're out on loan in the first place. Kepa's had an absolute stinker in Madrid. They're not going to pay for him. Lukaku, Roma are probably not going to pay for him because they're not going to make Champions League, so he's going to have to go Saudi. And Ziyech, I
I
don't
think
know.
he's keen to go Saudi, by the way. I
Yeah,
think he's keen.
hopefully he is,
Yeah.
because that's the only place he's going. Because look how long it took for us to find a club to come and get him on loan. And Ziyech will probably have to go Saudi as well. And then, but this is, we have to hope that they come in for these players. They're not going to just queue up.
Can I also put in another 2 cents recently where I think one of our owners bought in further 40 million worth of shares, Chelsea shares. So they've bought another 40 million worth of Chelsea shares. So they've bought in more. And that's injection of capital into the club. So that brother, whoever spoke on that Sky Sports or Talk Sports, whatever it was, there is some truth there. Of course, there is some truth, but I think he's missing some other finer details as well. As I said, wages deduction, massive wages deductions that we've
that's
made.
one thing that's in our favor.
A lot of people forget. Recently, the owners just bought in further 140 million. There you go, 100. Wow, I thought it was 40 million. 140 million. Chelsea owners just bought in
Oh,
more
I thought
shares.
you said 140. Yeah, 140.
I thought it was 40. I said 40.
But
So
do you know
140,
what, though?
that's a lot. That's a lot of capital.
Isn't it a bit of a disgrace though that we're even having this conversation? Nearly 2 months into the tenure of the ownership, really? Like,
Of course.
when we shouldn't have to have this conversation.
Of
You know?
course.
We shouldn't
Of course, bro.
we shouldn't even be having this conversation.
We should be
really.
talking about titles. We should be talking about titles.
And if
You
we
mean
are
in
having
2 years?
We're all accountants now.
Is it 2 years?
You said
Yeah.
2 months. 2 years.
Sorry,
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't even be having this conversation. And if we are having this conversation, it's because we've just had a Premier League title lift and a Champions League lift, and we bought Mbappe, and we got a little bit too excited. You know what I mean? We went Galacticos, yeah, star-studded 11. Oh shit, my bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
my bad. that was a bit too much. You know, but for being in this position in the table and having these issues is crazy, man. Absolutely insane.
And you know
It's
what?
bonkers.
It's only gonna look a lot bad for us from a transfer point of view down the track when the stadium
100%.
construction gets into the mix of things. Once, how much were they estimating to do the job for the stadium? I think they were
Billion.
looking at something around 2 billion.
2 billion or something. Yeah.
Brothers, forget about any transfer window shows for the next 3, 4, 5 windows. We are not bringing in anyone.
Yeah. Do you remember Tottenham? They didn't spend anything during that time.
Arsenal.
Yeah, they were
Do you
just
know what I
selling
mean?
players.
Yep.
They were just selling players. Yeah.
Where do you think we're going?
Oh,
How are we
that's how we're
looking?
gonna pay for the stadium. Oh,
Where do you think we're going?
Washington profits.
Mate.
David
dear.
Datra Fofana profits. Do you know what I mean?
And
All of
if
this.
I'm not mistaken, when you inject cash, I don't think that counts as like
That counts as capital. That will be
that counts
counted
as capital. But I'm talking
It's
in
not
terms
revenue.
of like
It's
in
not
terms
revenue.
of profits and sustainability or FFP. I don't think they take into account cash injection. It doesn't automatically mean that you've made more money. That I don't think that counts.
So this is what I think this is where we are. From an accounting perspective, this is where we need to understand and not make judgments. So, look, I've done a bit of accounting in my background. Revenue, people get mistaken. Revenue is just sales.
Yeah.
That's not profitability. After revenue is deducted,
yeah.
after expenses are deducted from revenue,
Yeah.
then you get the net profit. But then after you deduct tax and depreciation and all sorts of other adjustments, then you get the final figure. But you also then have your retained profits, your capital that you've raised. All of that becomes part of your cash flow. Basically, that's what you have. So I don't know. I'm not any expert, but how they calculate FFP, all I'm saying is our owners and the board and the financial team that they have, surely they cannot get it wrong so royally.
Yeah.
Like a brother in Talk Sports coming in and just saying, oh, they're going to just get, they're definitely not going to pass financial fair. Like if he's so capable of saying that, then our guys are not doing the job.
Yeah.
It should not be that simple. So I think the right measures in recent times have been made.
The beautiful thing is we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
100%.
Yeah.
We will be there. The main issue is that Poch requires 10 outfield athletes. Connor is very slow. Connor is very slow. Enzo is very slow. Caicedo isn't fast. Possession squad, pressing manager. I wouldn't agree that all those guys are all slow. If all those guys are, I mean, Enzo, yeah. If the other two are slow, then Jesus, what's going on? Start the protest against Bowie and Clear Lake today. Now and get these clowns out of our club. Get out of my club. Bowie Clear Lake out should be trending by the end of the week, says Roman Abramovich.
Big up, Roman.
We'll
Way they
see after
screwed
the Wolves
must
game.
be an inside job, says iTest Merchant. Mad. This team's lack of structure reminds me of PSG. Interesting. PSG. Why can't Sterling pass forward at all? At this point, I'm done speaking on what Sterling can't do. It's just he needs a Saudi offer too. If we're talking about bringing that wage bill down, that's another brother that, you know, on top of one of the left backs, yeah, that are on 200k. But
potentially he'll be gone as well. I think he'll be gone. This will be his last season.
Who's gonna buy him though on that wage?
Saudi.
Does he want to go to Saudi? Because Henderson just came back.
Bro,
These English brothers ain't faring too well out there. So.
Brother, make yourself down there. That's all I'm gonna say. Pack up your bag and make yourself down. I'm not here for your emotions.
If you throw enough money at Sterling, I think he'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it, but he comes across someone like the money will change his mind.
Yeah, it does. It does.
The Saudis will throw, like, they'll be like, Yalla, what are you on? 300k?
900k
for you. 600k for you. 900k
is nothing, bro. They'll give him $1 million a week, 900k minimum. Yeah,
he'll go.
He with what he's done in the game, he definitely can get $1 million a week out of them.
Yeah,
definitely. Get rid of that clueless one and find a proper one to command the kids. Get someone with head and balls, or maybe just
get someone with head and ball.
Someone has ball in his head.
All right, this is a very confusing.
Maybe someone has ball in his head.
There's the very confusing super chat, but I think I get the sentiment. It's a very aggressive tone that you're using for sure. Would you take Adoy over Mudrik? Bruv, please do not waste my time with this. Please, let's not do this. Let's not
I
do
would.
this.
I would.
I don't care. I want quality, not Odoi back, who's already taken the licks for the injury. Yes, listen, Mudryk is not. He's not technically as smooth as Odoi. I don't think he is, but Odoi is not what I want back. No, that is not the level.
No. You know what? This was a conversation. Where was this a conversation? I saw this somewhere. And then I mentioned it on the watch along because it got brought up.
This is how we descend into mediocrity right here. If
No,
I
but it's
make this swap deal, we get relegated very soon. I promise you.
No. You know what? I wouldn't. This should never happen, right? But I think it's not about that. I think it's more about look at the level that Mudryk is at. Like if you're taking Hudson-Odoi ahead of Mudryk, I think Mudryk is flipping. This has gone horrifically wrong.
I think, Younes, you're right. I think this is the super chat trying to highlight how poor Mudryk is, as opposed to would you take Hudson-Odoi?
Yeah,
the fact that
I would say yes.
That just is insane.
Yeah, the fact that we would even contemplate taking Hudson-Odoi, I think the super chat's trying to emphasize the point that this is how bad Mudryk is.
Yeah,
I don't think the super chat's trying to impose that take Hudson-Odoi. It's not trying. It's just trying to pinpoint that Mudryk's bad.
Crazy.
I mean, yeah. Wow. Mudryk. We'll talk end of the season. We'll do a big.
Bro, how he missed that chance as well, by the way, against Liverpool. That was bad as well. That was
big player review at the end of the season. It's going to be a long day. But we're going to make a loss on him because he's not worth half of what we paid. That's the truth of the matter. I've been repeating it for a while, but he's not worth half of what we paid.
We're not gonna get. Even if you, how many years of his contract has he taken down? 2.
Yeah. Well, no,
so 62.
one and a half, 18 months.
Let me just do some quick maths here. I'm an accountant these days more than a fan.
I was chatting to Robbie yesterday about Mudryk because when last time he was in Miami, he's friends with one of the guys at Brighton that do recruitment, and Brighton were interested in Mudryk because obviously De Zerbi's managed him.
De Zerbi,
yeah. But he didn't say that he was worth any more than 25 million. The recruiter for Brighton, right? And they're thinking, why is Arsenal and Chelsea battling for this guy for these figures? He's not worth more than 25, 30 mil. And it's facts. He's not.
Who wanted him? Because apparently Brentford.
Brighton. Maybe Brentford as well, but Brighton as well.
Brentford apparently were close. Yeah, Brentford were close to getting I think they wanted the deal done for 5 million. And Arsenal walked in, and then Chelsea walked in. It's just done what they
5 million. Wow. How long is Mudryk's contract, by the way? How long is his contract?
8 years, of course, long one.
About 55 years.
62 divided by 8, so per year it's 7.5. So someone said that it's only 1 year that's gone. So 62 minus 62 minus.
We're looking at we need about 55.
It's nice we got an account.
Yeah, we need about 55 million. Like that's the face. Like that's the book value.
That's the book value. We need 55. Yeah. We're not going to get 55
to break even. To break even.
Yeah. We're not getting 55 million. For him.
No one's giving 55.
The max I don't think people are going to pay 55 quid.
The max you could get for Mudryk dead ass is about probably 30 plus add-ons, and those add-ons will all be performance and trophies achievements based. That's how I'd see it.
This is why the owners will not sell him. They will not sell him. They will.
Yeah, but that's why we keep hearing the briefings of, we don't want Rafa Leao, we don't want KK, we don't, because we believe in Mudryk, the project Mudryk. We believe in this guy. When you actually watch Mudryk, long day.
It is a long day.
He looks like and plays like Werner.
Do you know what? I think that's a bit of a disrespect. Werner, at least,
I take Werner, man.
Yeah, like Werner. Like if you still remember Matisse, like
I'm talking about Chelsea Werner.
Chelsea Werner couldn't finish.
He made runs. He made some good. He couldn't stay on side. but he made some. Yeah, he tried.
He
to make
made some runs.
tried to
I
make
think he had some
Yeah.
good assists as well for Chelsea. He had some really good assists for Chelsea. Number of
Werner's
assists.
problem
Oh,
is he
he's worse.
couldn't put the
Okay,
ball
well,
in the net.
if he's worse than Werner, then shit. We really
Yeah,
in
he
some
is worse
problem.
than Werner.
We really
He
in
is
some
This
worse
guy
problems.
just runs into players for fun.
We in some
Like I
problems.
completely agree with the fact he can't read the game. At this level, he
No, he
can't.
can't
do it.
read the
He's
game.
not a Premier League footballer. End of story. For
I'm gonna do
me,
book,
as
I'm
far
gonna
as
do
I'm
book value video for sell lists at the end of the season.
I think I did that a while back. It's an interesting video as well. It's a damn
Use
interesting video.
use our accountant. His services are available. So you can get in touch if you need great accounting.
Oh shit!
The other side of the coin, accounting services.
The accounting services
Contact
are
him
here.
now.
I'll do your tax returns for free.
God damn! Shit, we made the okay. Damn, that's mad. But the output of the attack is not on the floor this season. I saw that we equaled last year's tally, but last year was so bad anyway. I mean, last year was horrendous.
Mate, have you seen where we are compared to last season?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Have you seen Younes's tweet yesterday? It don't matter
Bro.
what the output is. We are
Still in the
we're
same
at the
position.
same. We're in the same position at
We've
the
not-
same time as last season.
Yeah, not even gone up one place.
In fact, goal difference
and
is
we've
low.
scored more, but we've conceded more. And
Yeah.
we've won more, but we've lost more.
We've leveled things out.
So we're 10th with the same amount of goal difference +1 and the same amount of points, 22 points. Thank you very much. We've moved absolutely nowhere.
Wow. That's
Do you know
mad.
that tweet, Younes, yesterday, that blew my mind. Because
That's
they
mad.
didn't know that we were in the same position at the same time as last
That's
year.
insane.
That blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, we've actually not moved. We've not moved. So when people are telling me we have improved, where have we improved?
Rotted.
Can it be
it's pretty
possible
incredible.
can it be possible to have the same points as last year at the same time and still say you've improved? Can that actually is that a wise comment? Could you
If
make an
you're-
argument
I
that
mean-
there is?
The only way you could have improved is if you played better, which it's fair to say we have not. At least not in all aspects, you know, because we're conceding more goals, which is the defense is so bad. I don't know if it's worse or better, but it's definitely bad. I mean, the shit is shit at this point, isn't it? Right? What's the point of comparing it?
Yeah. What's a better
Why?
shit?
Yeah, which one was the better shit?
Which one was the better
why-
color?
Consistency, delicacy. Why are United better than us right now? They shouldn't be alone. Spurs, Villa, etc. What do United have that we don't? We should at least be better. I'm not looking at United as role models. I'm sorry. The day I start doing that is the day I just close up the whole channel. I'm not doing that. Yeah, they're bad, but we're just worse. That's how I see it. Never felt so disconnected to my club. A bunch of kids playing and a bunch of yes men in the club and fan base going along with the destruction. Says Titi.
I'm not going along with the destruction, just to let you know.
Yeah, same.
We need an Ajax-like turn before the owners take ownership. That's how Mislintat got sacked, and he was doing what our directors are doing now. Damn.
Mate, Ajax fans kicked off, like rioting, smashed the stadium. Like they kicked off.
It'll
It
never
went
happen in
another
Stamford
level.
Bridge. It'll never happen in Stamford Bridge.
But what I will say, and obviously don't get violent, please.
Well, yeah,
But I will say that unlike United or Arsenal, even Arsenal, it got pretty ugly, but then you could argue maybe they fixed themselves a bit. Chelsea fans, it will reach a boiling point if it doesn't begin to change. Like,
Can
Chelsea
I
fans
just
will-
say, and I don't mean to be so real, but I've done a protest before. Me and Younes have done a protest before, right? And we did our very damn best to get the word out there. It was a massive cause, right? And it was very important, and we tried to get it out there because the rickets was a wild, absolute wild. Lord have mercy. These lot were just, forget running the club, the horrible people, just bad people in general, people. And that is just something that is just crazy. Now, turnout was okay. I don't really mind. You know what I mean? I can only do so much. But if you're talking about who needs to actually turn out and who needs to be, it's going to have to be the match goers. It's going to have to be the guys. It's going to have to be the match goers, and it's going to have to be the guys that are in and around London. They're going to have to pull up. I'm afraid to tell you, as a content creator, I've already done a protest, and me getting CFC mod and CFC PYS to retweet my protest is not going to get these 50, 60-year-olds out with the pitchforks like the Super League, because that's what's needed.
That's
That's what's needed. Those are the guys that have to come out. The 50, 60-year-olds in the Chelsea pensioners pub, they're the people that have to come out. So when you're asking for protests, it's not going to be the international fans. It's not going to be the Twitter talkers that are 15, 16-year-olds that when I do tell them to come to the protest, they either don't show up or they stand on the other side of the street because they don't want cameras in their face. I'm not going to name names, but just be aware of who needs to turn up this time. If you want to protest, you need to go and talk to the over 40s, over 30s, match goers, bald skinheads, proper Chelsea. Yeah, that's the man them that have to roll outside, not me.
But you know what? You make a very good point, and that is the sentiment that is starting to boil. Right, when you talk to match-going fans and you see exactly what the consensus is by the ones that are going, they're losing touch, and you're seeing more and more that they're losing connection. They don't feel connected. They're just not in touch with what's going on at all, and they're getting fed up. I mean, there's talk of flipping cup final tickets being put up for sale. Aston Villa, the replay is not sold out. Like there are fans literally starting to not really be fussed. The more and more that this goes on, is the more and more that it's going to boil, and you'll start to hear noise at the bridge. This is going to be inevitable. If this keeps going the way it's going, it's going to be inevitable. It will reach a point. It will, without question. When? We'll see.
Let's see, man. Let's see. Smile more and take a sip on your favorite apple juice.
Yeah, you got to bring back the apple juice, man.
Oh, I would if we were winning. United fan here. I'm happy to see our owners are letting the new CEO from City dictate the new DOF and manage. Our owners shouldn't be so involved, says Asian. Big up. It's true. In terms of that's the order of things that should be done. That's the way it should be done. Don't understand the argument of needing time because they're young. Hazard at 23, 24. Christensen, Willian, all these guys were young and they were playing. Oscar, maybe you can add to that as well if you want. Ramirez, were playing for Chelsea, and Mourinho instilled what it meant for them to be winning for us. We're missing that. Also, they're just better players as well.
I think Mata was very young as well, by the way. Matisse.
Yeah, Mata as well. Hazard, please. I don't want to see Hazard's name even in line with any of these young wingers. Please, let's not do that. We talk about systems, right? We talk about we need systems and we need patterns and we need. Tell me which system and which pattern did Hazard need? Which system and which pattern did Hazard need? Because I saw Hazard play.
Hazard was the system.
Exactly. I saw Hazard play.
Hazard said, "Give me the ball. I'll do the system."
Exactly.
He goes, let me show you the system. Let me show you the system.
Let me show you the system. Let me show you the system. You don't know the system. I am the system. This brother played in 3, 4, 5 different formations, 3, 4, 5 different approaches in terms of methodology, attack-minded, defensive-minded, counter-attack. This guy played. This guy is systemless, right? So when we talk about this is the type of player we need. I don't know where they are. I don't know if they exist anymore. I don't know if they make them like Hazard anymore. Maybe they don't. But these are the types of individuals you need in a squad. There's no point having 11 soldiers that need hand-holding systems, patterns until their heart's content. Because when the system and the pattern doesn't work, like De Zerbi going to Luton and getting spanked 3-0, right? Or 4-0, whatever it was. When the system and the pattern don't work, you need individual brilliance. You need Kevin De Bruyne's stupid passing ability. That's not a system. That's not a pattern. That's just him being great. That's why great managers and great teams need great players. So you don't build a team full of average players and put a system in place to protect them. That is what Brighton do. That is what Bournemouth do. We are not Brighton. We are not Bournemouth. We have to have superstars. We have to have some intelligent, individualistic, incredible players. If we don't have that, then we belong with the Brightons, who have good coaches, with the Bournemouths, with the Wolves, who have good coaches, who have systems. We will be with them. Because you can't tell me that Madueke and Mudryk don't go and play for Bournemouth and Wolves. They could go play for those teams. You wouldn't even bat an eyelid if they played for those teams. I don't even know if they'd even start, but they'd play for those teams. Our forward line literally is bottom half of the table. Putting it nicely. That's just what they are. That's what they are. So that's how it works. That's how it is for me. It's a long day. Financial advisor to City, they have 150. Yeah, it's funny because someone brought this up as well. This guy that we're listening to as well on TalkSport, former City, this Man United guy, former City. So be careful with City. We don't know how much they've been behaving themselves. We have to wait for that one.
No, apparently this financial advisor was advisor when City were crap. Before like the money came in properly, that's when he was working at the club. So yeah. Main Road days, if you remember Main Road, that's probably where he was working.
By the way, just quickly, Carlos Vinicius, I think Fulham player, he's gone on loan to Galatasaray. Here we go. He's a striker, so I think.
Oh, him? Yeah, I remember him.
I think Broja will definitely start because I think Jimenez is injured. Jimenez is injured, I think, right? He's picked up an injury.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
So Broja will. So yeah, 0 loan fee. Yes, that will happen. So yeah, more. Money that's not coming into the bank. We need the money. We needed the penalty.
This guy. Sorry, go on, Younes.
Apparently, we fumbled the Malang Sarr deal that was meant to go down yesterday.
Yeah. Talk about it. What's going on there?
So he was meant to go to Le Havre in France, and that never happened. Apparently, Le Havre are blaming Chelsea as to why. Again, much like the whole Benrahma thing, the paperwork wasn't submitted in time. Things weren't done in time. He was there in France, ready to do the medical, and it never went down. But he's at Chelsea getting 120k a week.
Yeah, that's mad.
Like, what's going on there? Do you know what I mean? But again, we go back to the same point. He's at Chelsea on 120k a week, mate. He's chilling. He can literally sit down, do nothing all day. 120k a week is coming in fantastic. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the worst transfers. I remember when he first came in, I remember doing this show. People were trying to convince me that he's good and that we should give him our Lord heavens. We have wasted our time. We didn't even make profit. We didn't spend any money on this guy. We gave him a 5-year deal on 100k a week. We've lost money. We've brought in someone for free and lost money on this guy. He has been horrendous business. And I called it. I called it from the get-go. He's nothing more than a profit player. He hasn't even given us a profit. I oversold the deal. I overmilked it. I said when he came in, he's got no chance of making it here. He's not good enough, right? And he's purely there for profit. And he didn't even make profit. Ay. Lord mercy. This guy's speculating on speculative assumptions. He's talking on financial debt. I don't know. Do you? Okay, that is the word you want to use. Don't take the bait and add to the stupid narrative. And yes, I'm financially educated and I can school him. Have done once. Okay, listen, brother. We just talking about what's out in the atmosphere in the realm of football. You know what I mean? We just debating and discussing the topic because it's a topic. I don't know if it's true. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have the numbers. I'm not in the office. All I know is it better not be, and we're gonna find out. Because if it goes poorly, a long day. You know what I mean? So just wait.
And honestly, if anyone has any insight, right, or any, let's say, financial expertise or things that we might not know, let us know. Please send it in the comments and let us know what you think is right, or what you think the actual knowledge should be. Let us know.
It's very hard to fill in the gaps when you don't have the numbers in front of you.
Yeah.
That's just how it is for me. I don't have the number. We don't have the numbers, so I don't know how it's even possible for us to know. I don't know how it's possible for us to know if we're absolutely safe on the 30th of June, irregardless of what happens from this moment to that date. Then we can say, "Good job, ownership." If we are not, and we need to sell someone or we need to do something that isn't already done, like the Lewis Hall deal. I don't want to hear about Maatsen. That is not done. I do not want to hear about Broja. That is not done. Gallagher, Lukaku, Ziyech, Kepa, Cucurella, Malang Sarr. These deals are not done. If we have to do anything that is not already done today, then we are not doing things in a very smart way because we are running risks. We might get away with it. We might sell these guys before then, but we are running risks. If you can come to me and tell me hand on heart, I know the finances. I'm in the chat. I know what I'm talking about. 30th of June, we do not need to do anything after the season ends, before that date, before the Euros. We don't need to do anything. We're sorted. We've already sorted this financial period. Then no problem. We move. We move. But if you can't tell me that, then long day. Thank you for becoming a member, Mirik. Sorry, I don't want to butcher your name, but I much appreciate it, brother. If the owners get pinned down, they'll start selling players who are acquired last summer. Just watch. We will be there. Lewis's panel taking shots, bro. Guys, please, you know me. I don't care. Do you understand? I don't do this YouTube beef thing. I don't care, bro. Me and Lewis are good. I don't care if anybody on his panel is talking about me, mentioning my name, giving their opinion or my opinion. They can do that. I don't care. Not interested. Couldn't give an ass. So yeah, we bought expensive materials for Clueless Chef. Okay, I'm guessing that's Poch. When the season begun, I thought stop buying wingers, and now we don't have anyone good. Rest of the season, front four of Nico, Palmer, and Kuku Carney. Poch needs to play Enzo and Caicedo close to each other. I agree with that. Rogers, Rajesh, sorry, I completely agree with that. The midfield, they need to be closer together, man, for sure. It just makes sense to me. Big up, boys. Big up, Miz. If we lose to Wolves and get kicked out of domestic cups, all hell will break loose. His ownership has ruined us. Shame. It's Chelsea Empire.
You know what? The next few games are key. Because when you look at the run-in, we've got Wolves on Sunday. We've got Man City away soon. We've got the cup final immediately after that. And there is Aston Villa, the replay. So, yeah, we've got Wolves, Villa, then Palace away, then Man City at the Etihad. The Tottenham game's postponed. We've got the final straight after that. Brentford away, Newcastle, Arsenal, Man United close after that. It's going to get mad. And you know what? I think the Man City game away, plus the cup final, especially, that could make or break. Because that's a chance for a trophy. And if it doesn't happen, which I think right now many people are not expecting it to, but if it doesn't happen, then that could just be the catalyst for everyone to just, everything is over, basically. We've got to remember Tottenham coming to the Bridge as well. That's something that we can't lose that one. Just for the sake of the fan base, like at the ground, they won't let it fly. And with Poch in charge, it can't happen. It can't happen. So it's going to be key games coming up. Very, very, very key games.
Miz, what's your final thoughts? We're coming towards the end, guys. Thank you. Long show, man. But I mean, one of the best.
Good show. Long show, but good show. What's my final thoughts? Calamity. That's my final thoughts. Calamity, destruction, devastation, Armageddon. That's my final thoughts. Because I don't know how we're gonna. Wolves not going to be easy. They've already beaten us this season.
What do we think about Wolves quickly before we go?
Nah, it's not going to be easy, bro. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be, bro. They've got a lot more structure and organization about their game. I know they let in 4 against Man United. Okay, yeah, but overall this season, I think Wolves have been one of the more tighter teams, especially at their home ground. I know this is at Stamford Bridge, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. We don't have a single part of our game that is solid. Like if we had a solid defense, then I could say that, okay, maybe we can hold them off. Our defense is not solid. Our midfield is, the structure is not right. And up front in attack, it's free for all. It's like they're all freelancers up front, by the way. They're all freelancers. Like we just hire them on we pay them by the hour.
Freelancers. Oh my days.
They're paying their own taxes, yeah?
Bro, pay as you go phone contracts, bro. You know what I mean?
Pay as you go, bro. Do as you like, pay as you go, all of that. So Wolves, I don't know, man. If I'm not sure, I'm not really sure. I'm very, very confused. Aston Villa, I don't think we're going to beat them at Villa Park. I know Newcastle recently did, but I don't see how we beat them. And then for me, it was Liverpool, Wolves, and Aston Villa. I said these 3 games are huge defining games. So we've already got spanked by Liverpool. Don't know what's going to happen against Wolves. And I have a feeling we're going to get knocked out by Aston Villa. So for me, something's got to change after that. Something's got to change. Like whether you change the directors, whether the owners change their philosophy, whether you change the manager, something's got to change. I'd rather give a different manager a chance for that Carabao Cup and at least have a shot of making that Conference League.
Yeah, but who? Because these men probably thinking of Frank
I
Lampard.
don't know, Matisse. I'm not.
These guys, but these guys, you have to be careful with these guys because they're looking at Frank Lampard. Super Frank.
Listen.
Super Frankie Lampard.
If Frank comes in as an interim again.
Super Frank. And the fan base will get on it. What again?
Are we backing Poch though? Are we backing Poch against Klopp in the Carabao Cup?
Bro,
are we backing Poch against?
I'm not backing anyone again. I'm not backing anyone against Klopp right now. Like it's Klopp, and there's nobody available that I backed against him.
We might as well just surrender. Let's not even go.
Well, listen, we just have to go there. The only thing we can do is go there with a different plan. Don't go there and play the same way. You play that back 3 with the wing backs, and you go with a deeper defensive block. But, bruv, super Frank.
Yeah, well, if it's Frank Lampard, no, just keep Poch, bro.
Because all of the managers are leaving at the end of the season. Yeah. Their clubs, like all of the amount of managers available in the summer is going to be insane. It's insane. The Sporting Lisbon manager might be available. Xabi Alonso. It will be Xavi that's gone as well. Ten Hag probably will be gone. They'll probably make the switch then. Who else is there? You've got Klopp obviously leaving, but he's going to take a break. Conte, I think. Maybe even
I think Conte's more Italian league. I think he's looking at
apparently AC Milan.
But these guys are available. Yeah, Flick will probably maybe want to start a fresh job from the summer onwards. He will probably want to start from pre-season. That's what most managers want. Who else is there? Nagelsmann maybe will leave his Germany post. I don't know. Like that period is when the managers will move. I don't think there's anybody trying to do any superhero saving shit mid-season right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think there's anyone trying to do all that.
What are you guys predicting for Wolves and Aston Villa?
I think we can beat Wolves, but it will be just down to fine margins as usual. Mid off. Mid-table versus mid-table. Going to be a close game. We might win. Yeah. We might draw. We might lose. Be a close game.
They're behind us. They win. They go above us. So
Pedro Neto might perform. Maybe it'll be Cole Palmer. It'll be Cole Palmer versus Pedro Neto. We'll see who wins. That's what this is.
Pedro Neto done us before.
Yeah, of course.
Was it Stamford Bridge or was it in Molineux?
I think it was at Wolves. I definitely remember him slapping in a winner against us at Wolves.
Yeah, he's Mendy, I think, wasn't it? Mendy goal.
He's a winger's winger. I was watching him last night. He is a winger's winger, bro. You put him on either flank, either foot. The guy can cross. He can shoot.
He's so decisive. That's what I like about him. He's so decisive.
He attacks his defender. Him and Elise, if they could keep themselves fit, I'd swap him for Mudryk and Madueke yesterday. I'm telling you.
The way Pedro Neto yesterday, the goal he took, like he was so certain in his head. As soon as the ball came to him, he's like, right,
yeah,
this is going to the back of the net. Now, how am I going to put it to the back of the net? Okay, I'm going to drift in a little bit in. Boom, shot on the near post. Goal. Like he was so. Our wingers at that position would be panicking so much. They'd be like, oh my God, there's so much space, so many options. What do I do? Oh, the ball's gone. Someone took the ball away from me. Like they didn't even do anything. They're still in the thinking process.
Imagine if you were to bring in Osimhen or Vlahovic, yeah. Imagine Pedro Neto and Elise creating for those two. I think that would be just a madness. It would be brilliant to watch.
That would be
brilliant to watch.
Pedro Neto is
Parma and Cuckoo in the man. It'd be nice. It'd be nice. Pedro Neto is a very good player, but they're very injury prone. That's the problem. I think Elise got injured again the other night for Palace. come off injured.
Wow.
Well, they'll fit right in then. Beautiful.
Oh dear. Right. Younes, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Has been long
What's coming up?
one. Shout out to everyone. And yeah, we'll see what goes down. Obviously, I'll keep up to date and my thoughts on everything as it comes in. Then tomorrow is the preview for Chelsea versus Wolves. So catch my thoughts on that tomorrow. Younes talks football, and then we will go through the motions again on Sunday. Looking forward to it.
Oh dear. Miz, let the people know any content coming up. What's happening?
Yeah, the other side of the coin, I am focused on a little bit of AFCON. I think Nigeria is playing tonight. So,
Nigeria today, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I might have a little bit of interest on that. Osimhen obviously playing. In terms of Chelsea, no, just the preview, unless something mad happens until then. So yeah,
There you are. Well, there you go, guys. It's been a long show, but make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to all the boys. And yeah, we will be back next week, this show, and I will be back for Big Six at 7 o'clock. I might do FIFA, I might not. We have to see what the energy levels are after Big Six.
Big Six tonight.
Yeah, 7 o'clock, yeah.
We're
the only team that lost.
You're going to get ripped up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll see if the energy levels are still there because I'm going to get absolutely destroyed. We're the only team that lost. And we got battered.
Oh, mate. You know what?
Kobe Mino did his thing. Man United got their win. Arsenal won. Man City won. Tottenham won. I'm finished.
Oh, my God.
We will be there to give you some...
Finished.
Backup.
Yeah, long day. Long day. And then the preview for Wolves will be out tomorrow. I got a skit that I want to run, but I'm going to save it until after we win a game.
It might have to be next season then.
I guess next season.
Or draw. I think that battering though, it ain't coming out before the next game, bro. I ain't releasing skits after.
Don't tell me it's shameless. Is it shameless?
Oh, of course.
Oh,
It's gonna it's nothing manager related. It's nothing It's actually transfer related. Yeah, I'm going back to therapy. It's gonna be great.
Brilliant.
Oh God. Right, guys, pick up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace.